Praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of YAHUAH. John 5:39. I don't be studying niggas. Niggas retards. Of the highest degree. Of the highest degree. Dang, these niggas took all the things, man. You know, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe receive honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? So last night, what did we look at? We looked at the redemption of the covenant that got us in the land. What was that redemption that we were redeemed from of that covenant? Can anybody remember? We looked at what we looked at last night. What was the transgression that we had to be redeemed from under that covenant? Does anybody remember? The covenant that got us in the land in the first place. We looked at 3 covenants last night. Can anybody recall what those 3 covenants are? With Abraham, and with Isaac, and with Jacob. So for that covenant, what did he redeem us from to make that? Because for a covenant, somebody has to die, correct? So who died?
What was in Egypt?
Yeah, the firstborn sons of the Egyptians died. You sacrificed the lamb, and then they died, and that was what purchased you. Because remember, he always talks about this, about him purchasing you and redeeming you out of the house of bondage. To redeem something, you have to buy it. So he bought you with the Egyptians' blood, with their death. That's what he bought you with, to bring those covenants that he swore to Abraham. Because those covenants with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob were of none effect. No one had died yet. Do you know what I'm saying? Once he killed those Egyptians, now this covenant is in effect. Now you have literally become my people, and I have become your Elohim, and now I can bring you into this place which I swore unto them. So now we look at the next part of that covenant, is what the transgressions that we committed to even violate it. And then also going back to what we talked about Wednesday with the prisoners of hope. Because you have to sit back and realize when we were in Egypt, you were a prisoner. Just like you're a prisoner right now. So I had a conversation with people, man. I'm like, yeah, you know, Egypt is not the place. See, a lot of people get stuck on, because, you know, a lot of Hebrews will tell you Egypt means bondage. And in Greek, loosely, yes, it does. In Greek, because the name of that land was never Egypt at any time. It was Mizraim, period. That's what we called it, because that was the name of the son of Ham. The people who dwelt there, they called it something else. Well, let's put it as they say what we called it. That's what Yah called it. You know what I'm saying? The people of the land may have called it Kemet or whatever they called it. But we called it Mizraim because that's what Yah said it was, because y'all should know Psalm 49. He said he named the lands after the names of the people. That's common. That's a common thing. That was regularly known, and that's what you did. You see that all in the text. They either named the land after a person or something that occurred there. So you could remember that when you came into that city. You know what I'm saying? So they'll sit back and say, so a lot of people feel like we're supposed to literally went back into Egypt, even though the text said you will never go back there. He said he would never send you back to that physical location, and he also told you don't take your stinking behind back around there. You know what I'm saying? So you know that's not where you're going. Now I asked this to my people, and I asked y'all the same. Where are the 2 places outside of this last captivity where we ever taken out of the land forcibly and taken to another place? We're the only 2 places that we have ever been taken forcibly out of the land in captivity. That is one of them. Yes, correct. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Because every other captivity that we've ever been in, if you examine the text, we never left the land. When you look at all the captivities, and this is a conversation I have with my cousin. You look at every captivity in the book of Judges, we never left the land. They just ruled over us. We never left the land.
So this is our 3rd one right now.
This is the 3rd one.
Well, I have a question. When the Assyrian king came to the 10 tribes, he removed the 10 tribes, like the northern kingdom. Mm-hmm. He removed them and placed them in the cities of the Medes.
He took them out of there. He took them to Assyria. That's what the text says. We actually might get to that this afternoon. He took them to Assyria. He didn't take them nowhere else. That's where they went at. The city of the Medes didn't come in. They weren't even ruling at that time. The Medes came in and took over from Babylon. They're the ones who overthrew Nebuchadnezzar. They came a long time later. The Medes is the ones who set us free from Babylon. The Medes is the one in the book of Esther. That was Xerxes, the old faggot looking nigga from 300.
It did say that it did say in 2 Kings 17 he placed them. And I think it's in the 17th chapter.
Yeah, we gonna look at that, but they did not go to Babylon. Yehudah went to Babylon. Yashar'al went to Assyria. Yashar'al never returned. Yehudah came back. You know what I'm saying? Yashar'al never returned. When he removed them, they never came back. Scattered. They never came back. You know what I'm saying? Yehudah returned because of prophecies that had already been spoken. They had to return. And the niggas don't even pay attention. You were in captivity with the Romans, and where were you at? In the land. And according to the text, you were only in Yehudah. Because they didn't deal with people in Samaria because of what is in 2 Kings 17 about the strangers being in there and thinking they were us because he put Levite priests in there because the people who were dwelling there didn't know the man of the Elohim of the land, and he was sending lions to eat them. That's why that woman in John 4 said, "Are you greater than our father Jacob?" That's not your daddy, ho, but it's okay. You don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? Because multiple generations you would have thought that because of what you had been taught. They were taught our history as if it was theirs. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't mad at you, baby. It's okay. You know what the master let her know, baby. You don't know what you're talking about. He let her know straight up now, baby. You don't know what you're talking about.
So is America gonna play? Y'all gonna pay back America with blood?
He gonna pay back everybody with blood, and not just because of what they did to us, but because they have blood on their hands for their sins. You can't be around here taking it in the bud and that man ain't finna come see you. You can't be around here stealing people's land, shedding innocent blood and don't think that man ain't gonna come see you. You can't be around here telling lies, worshiping idols, and committing adultery and fornication and think that man ain't gonna come see you. See, that's what people look at. Oh, America's worse. The whole world worse. You only think America worse because you live here. Them Japanese people and Asian and Chinese people just perverse as these white folks over here is. Them Arabs is just as perverse as people over here is. You just don't know it because you don't live there. If you live there, your perspective would be different. You know what I'm talking about? But shoot, man, I'm telling you something. Don't fall for it. If that man say everybody in this world wicked, you better believe they is. You better believe they is. You know what I'm saying? America just promotes it a little stronger. A lot of the other countries, and I ain't even gonna say that, because if you go to Europe, bro, you can see real live porn and regular commercials. You understand what I'm telling you? You can actually see soft porn and a Sprite commercial in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Not a TV show, not a movie, but a commercial.
They used to come on HBO. They used to show them commercials.
I remember that show. I used to see them. It's stuff that they put on TV overseas that they don't play over here because they can't get away with it. You know what I'm saying? So don't go for that. Well, where I finna go at, man? I can't even. Where do I want to start at? I guess Hebrews chapter 9, I suppose. So just keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Whole world perverse. Don't think America's the worst, because you could go overseas and be like, I never would have known. Stroll did. Yeah, that's definitely the truth. The wickedness definitely didn't start over here. Like we crack jokes about it, but y'all know the history about gymnasium, don't you? Okay, well that started at. They ain't start over here. You know what I'm talking about? The whole lesbian thing come from an island, and that did not start over here. But guess what? They were doing it before then, because we know the Egyptians were punks. We know the Egyptians were adulterers and whatever the word is, and participated in bestiality. I know it's a word to use for someone who likes to have sex with animals, but I don't know what it's called. You know what I'm saying? They like to eat rhinoceros butt. I'm for real. I don't know, but them Egyptians were sure catching them and eating their butt. I can't say nothing because they eating butt, because niggas eat rump roast. You know what I'm saying? A roast ain't nothing but a cow's butt. You know what I'm talking about? Every part but his tongue. I'm good on that. Want no cow tongue. Other than that, I take Betsy's back, or butt, or stomach. All that. I take all that. I don't mind. Betsy good. I don't care what them vegans say. 9 and 13. You know, the vegan try to shame you. How could you eat meat? Real easy. I cook it. I open my mouth and I chew. Say, for of the blood of bulls and goats and of the ashes of a heifer sprinkling the unclean sanctified to the purifying of the flesh, how much more shall the blood of Mashiach, who through the eternal Ruach offered himself without spot to Elohim to purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living Elohim. And for this cause he's the mediator of the new covenant, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. So now we need to kind of take a look at some of the transgressions that were under that first covenant that you needed to be bought from. Ezekiel chapter 20. 20. No, we crack jokes about a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna be honest with you though. Perversity didn't even start with white people either. I hate when black folks try to act like you learned that from the white man. No, the white man learned that from you. He learned that from you. White people learned homosexuality from you. They learned adultery from you. Because you can't say you were the original man and then all the perverse, corrupt things come from them. If you're the original, that means anything corrupt had to originate from you. If you're going to be honest about it. Because all those people of the lands that were doing perversity, what did Yah tell us to do? Don't be like them. Don't be like them. Because them people, man, look here, man. Them Canaanites was defiling the land, something serious. They were getting off. And I ain't even talking about no sexual perversion. Let's just deal with the reality of the idolatry that they were practicing and the things that they were doing in relation to the idolatry. You know what I'm saying? All the sexual perversion and the killing and the robbing is a whole nother thing. Let's just deal with the fact that they like to sacrifice their children to fire to a statue of an owl. You know what I'm saying? And you got niggas still saying, oh, they sacrificing children to Molech now. But they ain't setting no children on fire to Molech right now. Niggas say because they sacrificing it to the music game. That's how stupid niggas is. No, if you was going to sacrifice somebody to Molech, you had to throw your baby in some fire, man.
They say the Bohemian Owl over there in California.
Yeah,
Rich people go.
I was finna mention that. The Bohemian Grove. They meet every year in July. It's a big old owl.
They say they sacrifice.
They claim they do, but how many people have actually been there to see it?
I can't say they sacrifice. I've seen pictures of people there.
Now I know it, everybody knows it's real because they do go there.
I've seen pictures. They got pictures.
They say they like to dress up and sing show tunes. Say they like to cross dress there. So you know what I'm saying? And some say they thrown children in the fire. Some say they throw dolls in the fire. Would I put that past them to throw small children in the fire? Absolutely not.
I also heard that they was serving Nephilim too. That they.
I don't even believe in none of that. I don't even believe in none of that. None of that. All that Nephilim stuff. I don't believe in none of that. None of that. You know what I'm saying? Because the text don't even support. Because if you're going to believe in Nephilim, then you got to believe that angels had sex with women. And I don't believe that. At all. Because the text don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Text don't say that. When you see sons of Elohim in that book, it ain't talking about no angels. Sons of Elohim were the sons of Adam. Because if you look at the text, he's called Elohim. Therefore, they're his offspring. Therefore, they're the sons of Elohim. Nowhere in the text do you see any angel having any sexual relations with another human being. That's what the book the movie Devil's Advocate is based on, or Rosemary's Baby. And then people say that's how it is because they put it in the movies. So they lie everywhere else but tell the truth in the movie. Because that's how niggas act. They put the truth in the movies. No, they tell fantasy in the movies too, sir.
Right.
Well, Genesis 6 called them Nephilim, and they said 6 fingers and 6 toes.
No, that was, what's that nigga name is? Hey, what that nigga name? What is that nigga name, man? That Goliath had 6 toes. It doesn't say that in Genesis chapter 6 with nobody having 6 toes. That was Goliath that had a 6 toe. And this nigga, my homeboy, had a 6 toe. This nigga ain't no Nephilim. That nigga had a birth defect. You know what I'm saying? It say the sons of God saw you gotta understand something. If they are the offspring of Adam, come on, bro. We can read right in Luke where it called Adam the son of Elohim. So if he Elohim, then those are his sons. If we can't turn around and say everything after his kind and then say, how can an angel procreate with a human being with what semen? He don't got blood. He's not human. That's common sense. So you mean to tell me an angel got blood in him? And semen? And genetic makeup and DNA? I think not. Ezekiel 21. I think not. Because they put it straight up and down. And nowhere in the book do you see Satan. Why is there no other witness for angels having sex with men? Nowhere else in the text. When I say men, I mean male, female, a woman. Why we can't read that nowhere else? Ain't no other witness. You got to read the book of Enoch. If I got to read the book of Enoch, I don't want it because the story started in Genesis. You know what I'm saying? So you can take the book of Enoch and wipe your butt with it when it comes to that. I just seen your homeboy talking about Enoch, the watchers talk, the women make up. Are you serious, nigga?
They still teaching that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He taught us how to make weapons.
That's old. They still teaching that?
It never stops, man. It never stops. Nothing don't stop. Nothing don't stop. Shoot. You niggas crazy. It came to pass in the 7th year, in the 5th month, in the 10th day of the month, that a certain of the elders came to inquire of Yahuwah and sat before me. Oh, that was the thing that I was going to mention too. That this last scattering out of Jerusalem that happened, you know Ezekiel prophesied of that. Y'all are aware of that, correct? And like I was telling my people, he was in Babylon when he prophesied this. So clearly he's not talking about us being scattered out of Babylon or scattered to Babylon because it had already happened. So he was talking about something future. And the only reason I mention this is because when Hamashiach talk about you'll be scattered amongst the Gentiles, this is where he getting it from, because he made a prophecy that ain't real. No, he made one that was correct. You stupid niggas don't know the word. You know what I'm saying? Because Ezekiel already told you this. So these these elders are coming to Ezekiel to seek a word from Yah in the midst of their captivity. Say, then came the word of Yahuwah unto me, saying, Son of man, speak unto the elders of Yashar'al, and say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, are you come to inquire of me? As I live, saith Yahuwah Elohim, I will not be inquired of by you. So you can tell right now, like he's kind of peeved right now, that you even coming to holler at me. What you mean? Wilt thou judge them, son of man? Wilt thou judge them? Cause them to know the abomination of their fathers. So now he said, you know what? Tell them what happened. Tell them what they did. Tell them why I'm mad, son. Tell them why I'm mad. He said, and say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, in the day when I chose Yashar'al and lifted up my hand unto the seed of the house of Jacob and made myself known unto them in the land of Mizraim. Remember how we seen that the word respect, what it meant? To make yourself known. You know what I'm saying? See, it wasn't looking, respect didn't mean what we look at as respect. Like, oh, they're my people. No, I'm finna make myself known unto them. Because we did not know Yahuwah at that particular time. What did Moses ask when he told him what his name? He said, what will I tell these people when I go holler at them? Because they did not know who he was. See, our people so dumb, they think we was in Egypt calling on Yah, knowing who he was. He heard their groans for what they were going through and what they were suffering. They didn't know Yahuwah. They didn't know they had Elohim. They probably barely knew who Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was. You know what I'm saying? They may have known who Joseph was, but it said a Pharaoh rose up that didn't know Joseph, so they may have not even known who he was if the ancestors did not keep passing that information down. And probably after getting beat upside your head for a period of time, you ain't even think about it. You know about your daddy Abraham?
Right now.
Right now, absolutely. It's no difference. They don't know at all. Our people do not know who Yah is. They just know Jehovah and Jesus. That's who they know.
They barely know Abraham.
Yeah, I was saying that yesterday. Yeah. In Deuteronomy, he said he hid his face from us to see what I am.
Yeah, he did say that. But at the same token, though, he didn't hide his face from them in Egypt because they never knew. But he hid his face from them before then, because hiding his face means I'm not going to save you. He hid his face from them in Babylon. He hid his face from them when they went into Assyria. He hid his face from him when we went in the land during the time of Hamashiach. I don't fool with you. When he say he hide his face, that means I'm going to watch these people bust you upside your head and I ain't even going to move. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even going to move. Because I told you, part for the sword, a part for the pestilence, a part for some fire. But you niggas going to realize to not play with me. Which I was talking about last night. Although like when they were talking about with Mason people, you're going to learn not to play with me. You know what I'm saying? See, we play with this man. Then when he turned his back, what type of God would do that? Me, nigga. That's the type. Because I had already told you I was going to do it, nigga. So find you somebody to play with. Hey, well, boy. Nevertheless. He said, when I lifted up my hand unto them, saying, I am Yahuwah your Elohim. And the day that I lifted up my hand unto them to bring them forth out of the land of Mizraim into a land that I espied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the esteem of all lands. So let's ask ourselves, will we think Peru is the esteem of all lands? Because he said that land is better than any other land. You have people that feel like our land is not the best of all lands.
I know it ain't Peru because they was talking on coke in Peru. Couldn't be.
I don't see nobody fighting over it either. Because the text say that they going to fight over it. The text say he going to gather the nations up to fight there. See, this is the stuff, if you know the text, you got to pay attention to. Okay, them people lie. We're not going to argue about that. But if don't nobody gather up over there to take it and rule it, then that's not the place. If don't nobody stand in that place and say he God, then that's not the place. If the two witnesses don't stand up and start prophesying there, then that's not the place. How you going to explain that if two witnesses go to prophesying over there? It is over there. Well, you going to hell then. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to argue with you about that. You know what I'm saying? The text say what it say. That's what you're supposed to look at. The Mount of Olives is adjacent to Jerusalem. It's adjacent. We'll listen to it, right? This is verse 7. Then I said unto them, cast ye away every man the abomination of his eyes, and defile not yourselves with the idols of Mizraim. I am YAHUAH. That's the first thing they did. Remember how we read that in Joshua 24 last night? He said, do not serve the gods of the land that you served on the other side of that flood. So that's the first thing they did. Let's go back to the beginning of the law in Exodus chapter 20. That boy there free. He roaming free. Might as well go and get up and walk. Stop playing. Exodus 21. Elohim spake all these words, saying, I am YAHUAH Elohim, which brought thee out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's all we wanted. You come back to Ezekiel 20. So we see the first thing that we have to be redeemed from out of the transgression of the first covenant is idolatry. That's why I say screw all the other stuff, because that's easy to mention. You know, fornication, adultery, homosexuality, lying, stealing, all that stuff there is easy to mention. But the first thing they needed to be delivered from, the first thing that they did is they worship other gods. Pause. The book of Judges, chapter 2. Let's look at a statement y'all talk. I just like the way he said it because he was being sarcastic, and rightfully so. 2.
So before he mentioned any other sin or delivered them, he made sure that they came up out of idolatry.
That's the first. No, what I'm saying is the first sin that he mentioned. He said, "Make them know all their abominations and the things that they defile themselves with." And the first thing he mentioned is idolatry. Why? Because the first commandment he told you not to do was do not worship another god, nor make you an idol. That's the first thing. If you actually examine the law, he tells you more about not worshiping idols than anything. First thing they did. That's the biggest thing that he had a problem with. Because the other things, that's just a self-control issue. You know what I'm saying? But you giving my esteem to another.
Right.
You giving my praise to another. You giving my worship to another. Of that I will not overlook. You know what I'm saying? That's why we read last week. He said at one time he winked at the nation's ignorance, or turned it, or he forgave it for a moment. Not forgave it, but didn't acknowledge it. Now he telling everybody, you need to repent. All the idol worshiping y'all doing, I ain't with it. I wasn't never with it, but I gave you a pass. You know what I'm saying? I ain't giving no more passes. See, okay, I seen this Israel talk. A nigga feel like if you talk about the sins and the retribution of y'all, they feel like you ain't talking about the mercy, but you are, because you're here to be able to hear that. That's why your ancestors wept during the time of Nehemiah when they read the law. They seen they were contrary to it. He didn't sit back and say, we in captivity. Y'all loves you. See, wicked niggas don't want to hear that. A wicked nigga will come at you quick. Where's the love? Where's the mercy? Where's the compassion? That's what a wicked nigga gonna come with. Nigga, that is mercy and compassion, because you're being told to repent. Don't get no more merciful and compassionate than that. Because he could have killed you. He didn't have to send nobody. What does Romans 2 say? Those without the law perish without the law. The people in them Canaanites ain't had no law. They perished without it. They ain't getting no. They ain't hear this or hear that. Kill that nigga. I'm tired of it. He going his wife while she on her cycle. Sick of this nigga. He's abominable to me. He got wicked imagination. He's abominable to me. Besides the fact that they worship idol gods, I find it despicable and disgusting. You know what I'm saying? See, everybody want to look at it from their perspective versus looking at it from his perspective. Because his perspective is the only perspective that matters. Our perspective don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Which comes down to why I always tell you that a nigga can have a righteous man in his face. She ain't gonna choose him because she ain't righteous. If you righteous, that's what you're gonna choose. If you not righteous, you might choose something different. You know, and you might get flim-flammed every now and then. That do happen. But most of the time, people are consciously aware of that nigga's wicked. She's wicked. I'm gonna pick her anyway. I love her. Then next thing you know, what happened? You pulling the Ahab. You know what I'm talking about? You pulling the Ahab. You going along with every wick. She killing the prophets. You won't stop her. You know what I'm saying? She worshiping idols. You build her a grove. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. Because at the end of the day, if you sit back and you look at it, right, what do most people say? Most people want to love another person more than they love Elohim. And they feel like that's the whole purpose of, we all need love. You need the love of Yah before you need the love of anybody. What's the love of a woman going to do you, or the love of a man, or the love of children, or the love of friends going to do you, and you don't have the love of Yah, meaning he loves you because you love him. You know what I'm saying? Then if you love him, the man tell you that. If you seek his kingdom, if you love him, then he'll give you a mate that loves you. And he'll give you friends that love you. Because all of y'all love him, therefore he'll give you somebody that's going to roll in that type of time. You know what I'm saying? Period. He loved us. That's why he separated us from the Egyptians. They don't love me. You know what I'm saying? But I love you. You don't know me yet, but I'm going to teach you about me so you can love me. And what do? Give him his butt to kiss. Here, kiss that. Because what did we read last night? He gave you houses with stuff in it. Houses that you didn't build with stuff you didn't earn. Vineyards you didn't plant. Wells you didn't dig. You know what I'm talking about? And you got fat and full and said, who is y'all? You know what I'm saying? Nigga don't like to talk. That's what I mean on what are we going to focus on versus the stuff that people like to argue about. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, not even just fringes, the stuff that people like to, people spend more time arguing about the word than trying to save themselves. Then possibly if you save yourself, you can save others. You know what I'm saying? That's what he told Timothy. Stay in the doctrine because you will not only save yourself, but save all those who hear you. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say your manner of life is an example to those who see. It's just like this here, right? And your homeboy did this here. You can know when a nigga ain't doing nothing when he got to tell it to you. Or we doing a lot out here in the street. Well, keep doing it in the street. I didn't need to know about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Who feeding the fatherless? Well, you go feed them, nigga. Because I could be feeding 1,000 fatherless sons you'd never know because I wouldn't tell you about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Who going to visit the widows? Nigga think because you a single mother, you a widow. That book don't say that what make you a widow. You're a widow if your husband died. If you tossed your butt in there and got 4 or 5 kids from different niggas, you're a harlot, not a widow. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you've never been, you got to be married first to be a widow. The only thing widowed is your self-respect and your virginity. That's it. It died. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I'm just being honest though. You're not a widow. The book tells you if she raised up kids in her hut, then she's a widow indeed. If you want to go look out for single mothers, go do it. To keep your penis in your pants and stop trying to holler at them if that's what you're going to do. If you want to holler at it, then be upfront about it. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot. I want to help you out at the same time. I'm interested. Ain't no shame in that. These niggas try to make you feel shame because you interested in them. If you're interested in it, then you're interested in it. So what? Better be interested in her than a man. Shoot, you know, all y'all in here know how the One West niggas act. You think they interested in men. How they talk about black women, the nigga whore, the nigga woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bruh, yo, mammy, because that's who you talk about. Your mother's a black woman, so I guess she's a nigga whore. You know what I'm saying? I ain't being from dead serious at how them niggas act. I'd have asked some of them niggas, bro, you gay? Because you seem to hate women. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how you hate a woman. You came from a woman. You possibly got daughters or sisters. How you hate women? When I see a nigga talking about bad about women, I think he might be gay.
I mean, they don't hate women. I think they hate everybody that's not a part of their organization. Because they talk about...
I respectfully disagree.
Because they done told me in Dallas when I seen ISUPK, they don't call me stupid nigga this, stupid nigga that.
Well, ISUPK don't really talk about black women like that.
And, you know...
So I can't say them. I haven't seen them talk badly about black. I've heard him say some stupid stuff about how to deal with a woman, but I can't say that I heard them disrespect women all in their conversation. Like, I can't say that, so I can't throw that on them.
I mean, they disrespect on people that's not, because they feel like if you're not in your, if you're not in that count, you going to hell.
Everyone knows.
They don't respect you, period.
I could care less. I don't respect a nigga who come out the house looking like he going to a costume party, but that's me though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Them niggas look like they going to play dress up every week. You know what I'm saying? Not no Halloween, because you know some people have costume parties throughout the year. Them niggas play dress up. How you expect a nigga play dress up? A nigga 40 years old. Nigga in the street your name Matsuma, at work your name John. Ain't nobody calling you Matsuma at work. You don't put nothing. How I'm gonna respect a nigga walk around with a sword? Nigga, you use a butter knife to cut your sandwich, nigga. You use that sword, nigga, that jump for sure. Nigga don't respect that, man. You playing. Come on, man. Where we at? Just tell what I want. 2 and 10. I'm dead serious though. You know the first thing they scream, but we out here doing the work on these trenches. What you doing? It don't matter what I'm doing. If I was doing something, I ain't gonna tell you about it. Keep doing your work. What you telling me about it for? Like I'm gonna be impressed. Why you ain't out here in the highways and byways? Cause I don't want to be, nigga. So what? I already told you can stand out in the highways and byways in Jacksonville, Florida if you want to. You're gonna be hot or cold because ain't nobody gonna be out there. You go out there in the hood if you want them. They gonna ride by you. Ain't nobody hanging out on no corners in this city unless they selling rocks. Them niggas in the trap. You definitely ain't finna. We can go downtown right now. You know what you gonna see? Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah, that's crazy. Downtown don't even be jumping.
Why would it be jumping? This place is massive. What am I going down there for? What am I going down there for? To do what? You know what I'm saying? It got to be. Ain't no stores down there. The stores in my neighborhood. You know what I'm talking about? So ain't nothing down there but some homeless people. So you want to go down there and try to preach the word to the homeless people. You don't care nothing about them homeless people. Go down there with a sandwich. That's what they want. Bring them a coat or some socks and some drawers. Some hygiene products. Straight them down. Them women need maxi pads and things of that nature down there. They living on the street.
I only laugh because I was watching this episode of Blackage and Anthony Anderson was about to pop some homeless guy. He was like, you about to pop me by God.
And that's how, hey, but on the real though, that's how they feel, because everybody who go downtown in their city, that's the conversation that they have. When people don't want to hear that all the time. You know what I'm saying? You can slide around there, do something for them. You ain't got to talk to them about y'all nan time. If they keep seeing you and you doing real stuff for them, then eventually you can slide that conversation in on them. They'll be receptive to hear because they know it's real. You quick to run around there to my be warm and filled. Y'all loves you. Nigga, I'm hungry. You brought me a Bible track, you ain't bring me a sandwich. You brought me a Bible track, ain't bring me a blanket. Nigga, 30 degrees tonight. Should have brought some blankets down here. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Nigga do that stuff for show, bro. If you were going to preach, what you need a camera for? If you going to street preach, what you need a camera for? What you brought a camera down here with you for? I ain't talking about your camera phone. I'm talking about a video camera. With the tripod. Well, you ain't come out here but nothing but to show out. And bro nigga killed me taking pictures of them giving them away food. What you took pictures of that for? Who wanted to see that? Who really cared? Who needed to know that? Nigga told me we gotta shine our light in the eyesight of the people. Nah, nigga, you doing that for you. But it's okay. Just be real with yourself and tell me the truth. Don't lie to me. You know what I'm saying? Judges 2 and 10. And also all that generation were gathered under their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not Yah, nor the works which he had done for Yashar'al. So you know, so what? Let me ask you a question. If the generation rose up after them and didn't know Yah nor the works that he did, what law did they break? They violated Deuteronomy chapter 11 and about verse 15. What she just mentioned. Teach it to your kids when you walk through the house, when you rise up, when you lay down. Now also they violated Exodus chapter 12 because he told them when they kept the Passover to tell them why they were doing it. So what we looking at is these are the, when we look at the transgressions of that were broken under the, we got to look at all of them. You understand what I'm saying? They did not teach their kids about their Elohim. Nor did they teach him about splitting of the Red Sea, drowning the Pharaoh's army, killing of the firstborn. None of the plagues. He told them to teach their kids this. That means they didn't teach them nothing Kadesh. They didn't teach them what foods to eat and what foods not to eat. They didn't teach them what sexual activity not to engage in. They didn't teach them about not worshiping other gods. They didn't teach them how to deal with their neighbor if they had an issue with them. They didn't teach them nothing about true witnesses. They didn't teach them none of that. And you got to say the time of Judges is maybe 200 to 300 years after we left out of Egypt. Maybe that's even stretching it. Let's say probably about 100 to 200. Because the time of Judges is picking up after Joshua's death. Say Joshua died when he was about 110, if my memory served me correctly. So that maybe could have been a good maybe 30, 50 years after Moses died. That nigga got snacks. Well, you can't. I know you ain't trying to live no way eating all them snacks. He just told me the other day, he trying to work out. Now he eating no oatmeal cookies.
Nah, they looking for grabs.
Oh, that nigga got a fudge round. That nigga ain't playing with it. That nigga got a square fudge too. That nigga finna be running off. Wait, don't get him to them children. Yeah, keep that to yourself. What, he want to live weight? Everybody know John don't want to live no weight. Man, you be telling. That's what that nigga came. Oh no, that nigga came back fat. That nigga talking about he was working out, lying. That nigga was out the house eating McDoubles. You do got snacks, nigga. You just pulled a whole case of fudge rounds out your bag. Then you came with a whole duffel bag full of snacks. That nigga was not playing. That nigga was not. You see that bag? Is more snacks in there?
Nah.
Look at him. He checking them out. Go on, get you one. He like fudge. But you do like fudge though. Shoot, I used to like fudge rounds. Then I started lifting weights. I had to put them down. I used to like Swiss cake roll too. I act like you niggas ain't like Swiss cake rolls, nigga. Shoot. Zebra cakes and all that. Yeah. 2 and 11 no. And the children of Yashar'al did evil in the sight of YAHUAH and served Balaam. And they forsook YAHUAH Elohim of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Mizraim, and followed other gods and of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them and provoked YAHUAH to anger. And they forsook YAHUAH and served Baal and Ashtaroth. So we see his issue, if we got to pay attention to it, the issue is idolatry. All the other stuff he do have an issue with. But the issue is idolatry. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't know, look what he said, right? They knew not Yah, right? So what did we read last night in John chapter 8? He said, you know, I know him. If I was to say I know him not, then I would be a liar like unto you. The master also said, Kadesh Father, the world have not known thee. You know what I'm saying? See, the world to know YAHUAH is to know everything that he's about and what he stands for, which is loving kindness, judgment, justice. You know what I'm saying? Goodness, faith. Because he say he Elohim of faith and his works are perfect. See, people don't know YAHUAH. That's why people say, you can't know. I hate when I hear niggas say, could nobody keep that law? Where's that at in the text? Where did y'all ever say nobody couldn't keep his law? Why would I give you a law you couldn't keep? Do you know how, what's the word I want to use for this here?
Yeah, I hate when Christians say that, man.
Sure, Hebrews say it. What you mean? I ain't even talking about no Christians. They don't know no better. Hebrews say it. Can't nobody keep that law. Do you know how sadistic and sick of a person you got to be to chastise, rebuke, and kill people from giving them something that they could not fulfill and accomplish? Do you know how crazy that is? I'm gonna give you some laws I know you can't keep, and then condemn you for not keeping what I knew you couldn't keep. No, you can keep them. You don't want to keep them. That is the difference. Nowhere in that text does he ever say, I hate when they read Matthew talking about your fathers had the law and didn't keep it. He didn't say you couldn't keep it. He said they didn't keep it. Grave difference. Very stark difference. See, people don't want to keep Yah's laws because it causes you to have to sacrifice the things that he finds to be offensive. I told you I hear people say, man, why everything that feel good Yah say is wrong? You know what I'm saying? I picked a dude up the other night. He was like, man, Picked him up from whatever the name of that. It's a gay club off in Riverside. He talking about, man, I bought everybody drinks. I ain't getting no play. I ain't that ugly, is it? All I want to do is see some penis. What? No, it wasn't in cahoots. It's another one. I mean, Ubering, you're going to know because you're picking these people up from there. That junk right over there where Oral Roosevelt at, man. Off in the car on Willow Branch. That's where it's at. I don't know the name of it. That junk right over there by the railroad tracks. Y'all done forgot Lil Stan used to Uber. You was a little nervous. You was a little nervous, huh? You was a little nervous. Say he knew that a little too well, huh? I'm for real though, but that's how he talking about. I just wanted some penis. I'm like, well, shoot. I mean, shoot, you can talk, nigga. I don't care, nigga. I'm finna drop you to your destination and move on to the next one. I don't care nothing about all that. I ain't got nothing to do with you. No, you know you got to be ugly. Punks don't want you. You know what I'm talking about?
So what did you tell him? Please don't speak that time.
I don't care what he can talk, how he want to talk. I don't have to engage him. I don't care nothing because you couldn't get you no man tonight. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't no different from picking a nigga out from the club. Boy, them hoes were deep in that, boy. I couldn't snag me one. I ain't finna say nothing to him either. Because I don't care, nigga. Sucks for you. So you spend all your money on drinks and you still finna go home alone. Sounds like you're an idiot. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. It just happens he like men. You know what I'm talking about? It done pick lesbians up from in cahoots and they talk like that. Because you got to realize something, man. You living in a progressive society, so to speak, where people feel like they can talk about whatever. And they don't feel like that you got a problem, but I don't care. Because you the taxi man, so to speak. So nigga talk. You know what I'm talking about? People get in that car and talk about their life problems. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I'm finna get put out, man. My wife left me and this, that, and the third and all that. You gonna look at this nigga and say, nigga, I don't want to hear that because I really don't care. You know what I'm talking about? Unless it's something serious. Like something real life serious. Because I done had people get in the car, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this she really going through something. Like, all right, I'm finna drop some jewels on her. And that done happened a couple times. You know what I'm talking about? But most of the time, bro, people get in that car, bro, and they know they finna ride for 15, 20 minutes. They just want to talk. They just don't want to sit in the car in silence. And a lot of times, boy, I be ready just to throw a song on so I ain't got to talk to you. See, because I didn't even throw no music on. I ride around and not say a word. I don't want to talk to you people. I'm just here to drop you off, buddy. I'm not your friend. I don't want to be your friend. Oh, they definitely want to talk then. I don't care, but I don't care if you sit in the front seat, because somebody don't want to feel like, you know, this ain't no regular taxi. Nigga in a regular car, nigga don't want to sit in the back. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But I will say you can network doing Uber and though if you pay attention to who getting in the car, or if they say, yeah, man, if somebody say, yeah, man, I'm just coming for work, or what kind of work you do. That's how we got to do business with one particular company. Because the nigga say, oh, man, I'm in construction. Who you work for? Here's my card. Oh, I deal with this. Here's my card. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, I ain't care nothing about that faggot dude in the talking shoot. Take your ugly white behind home and beat you me. Because that look like that's what you finna be doing. You know what I'm talking about? Because I hope you ain't throw that out there thinking, I was finna go home with you, nigga. I was talking about on the middle of 95. But guess what? Standing though, them hoes will throw hands too. Yeah. Cause I done had niggas claim, bro, she put her hand in my pants. How does a nigga slip their hand in your pants? Cause you know it's a lot of work you got to do to get in a nigga pants unless he got basketball shorts on. You know what I'm talking about? Indeed, it is. Shoot, I remember Pell say a woman asked him to give him some head. I'm like, dang, what type of people you picking up? You know? I ain't never had that happen, but I don't doubt it though. Jump in there like this, hey boy, I want to top y'all. Where that come from? You be some.
I guess it was a free Uber ride.
I'm telling you, man. Shoot, boy, I went to pick somebody up. No lie, man. Over there in Panama, and it was a prostitute, and she wanted to wait, and she was like, "Well, do you want to trick with me?" No.
Not you want to trick. She would ask me.
I don't want to trick with you. Word or no word, I'm good, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga definitely don't want no prostitute monkey. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? Some nigga don't care though. I'm gonna tell you something. Most men don't care. They just trying to get a feeling, just trying to get a thrill. That's why I would tell you, if you with a dude, well, hopefully that ain't gonna happen to none of y'all. If you with a dude, they cheat on you, and that woman's uglier than you, it had nothing to do with how she looked. It was just free vagina. He just had opportunity. Cause I done seen him. How could he cheat on with somebody uglier than me? Cause you thought it was about you. She just offered. She had a vagina between her legs. He didn't care what she looked like. You know what I'm saying? She could have looked like Chewbacca, Darth Vader. She wouldn't have cared. She gonna toot it. I'm gonna hit that. I done seen too many niggas do it. Same way niggas like that. I don't mess with fat hoes, but all these fat hoes got churned though. You know what I'm talking about? I'm dead serious though. I don't mess with ugly hoes. Who getting them pregnant then? Somebody getting them pregnant. You know what I'm talking about? Cause you niggas sliding around now. You just ain't want nobody to know. Late at night. Always talking about when we gonna go out in public. What? I'm hungry. Can we go get something to eat? I'm gonna get you something from McDonald's. Don't worry about it. You stay here. You won't even be seen with them. It's straight up and down. Shoot, you take money away from none of these niggas, boy, they be driving cement trucks. Straight up and down. Boy, if you take money away from a lot of these niggas, they couldn't get no girls. None. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, you take the word from a lot of the word, and why a lot of these niggas even got some women, because they ain't had that, they wouldn't get none either. You think what you got? Oh, he knows some scripts, girl. He wise. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? The nigga finna wisely slide up in your body. Next thing you know, I'm an idiot. That nigga got me. Then they be mad at y'all because that nigga wicked. I done seen it happen. I'm telling people sad. Just know that though. See, a woman and she mess with a dude, it's got to be some type of connection. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, a man will lay with anything and they don't think nothing of it. You know what I'm talking about? Go right back to his house. I'm talking about she could be dirty, filthy, how nasty. Boy, I'm finna go hit that whole boy. What? You finna go run? Shoot, boy, she hit me up, boy.
Where at? Is the house nasty?
Shoot, boy, some of these niggas don't care. Some of them don't care. I had my homeboy say he hit a chick to my boy, she was stank. I said, you hit her anyway? He said, boy, I had to do it. I said, why? Had a homeboy got burnt by the same chick 3 times in a row. Niggas still do it. I look like you got a lot of homeboys was on that type of time. Boy, tell you some old horror stories. Yeah, boy, I hit that whole boy. You hit Dirty Tina? Yeah, I hit that whole boy. I hit that whole boy. These niggas ain't got no standards, man. They could care less. Also, they can tell you they done hit a lot of hoes, but the caliber of hoes is a 1.5 though. Shoot, you know they ain't lying. Stanley, you look like when you was in college, you knew a lot of niggas like that. Boy, you hit that whole boy, you just sit and look at that nigga like, boy, you wild, boy. That's what a nigga say when a nigga hit all right. Well, you wild, boy. You wild, boy. Then that's the next thing nigga ask him. Well, how was it though? That's the next question nigga ask when he tell you wild. But how was it though? Oh, she was a freak, bro. Man, I might go around there too, boy. She with it. See, women don't do stuff like that. They don't have them type of conversations. I seen a dude post something the other day talking about every woman that had a train on ran on him. Boy, them women say, nigga, where now?
Oh man.
No, but I will say though, a lot of them have though while you playing. But I ain't gonna say every. I don't either. That wasn't something I went with. I wasn't with all that. Being in the room, but butt naked niggas.
No. To me, that's a little gay.
Ain't no love. Ain't no love. I'm good on that. I don't want to see your bare butt or your penis. Verse 14. And the anger of Yahuwah was hot against Yashar'al. He delivered them into the hand of spoilers that spoiled them, and he sold them unto the hand of their enemies round about, so they could no longer stand before their enemies. Whatsoever they went out, the hand of Yahuwah was against them, for evil as Yahuwah said unto them, as Yahuwah sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, Yahuwah raised up judges which delivered them out of the hands of those that spoiled them. Yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a-whoring after other gods and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of Yahuwah, but they did not so. And when Yahuwah raised them up judges, and Yahuwah was with the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge, for it repented Yahuwah because of their groanings by reason of them that oppressed them, and vex them. Dang, that's not the chapter I wanted. But I think y'all remember the chapter when he said, tell your gods to save you that you called on. Call on them. But you see what it is. He said, even in the midst of you being bashed upside your head when you were crying and groaning, he still came and delivered you. And what did you go do? See, people don't really look at how long it took before Yah actually said, I'm through with you niggas. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why we mention long suffering a lot, of dealing with somebody's manners and having patience, because Yah dealt with us for a very long, it was a very long time before he put Yashar'al out, even longer before he put YAHUAH out. Then he had enough mercy to bring you back before he put you out again. But see, you got to remember, they didn't get put out for any new sins that they had committed. He had already told you through the mouth of Ezekiel that I'm going to put you out. Like, you're not staying here permanently. But see, I got a work I need to complete, so I need y'all to be there. You know what I'm saying? And he told Daniel the same thing. I got a work that need to be completed, so you got to be there. Once that work is complete, you niggas got to go. Because I'm not playing with you. You know what I'm saying? Come back to Ezekiel 20. See, we don't look at that. See, we want to have a romanticized idea of how we were actually rolling. And we only want to talk about how we were actually rolling when you're trying to show somebody you're an Israelite. Then you want to talk, we were doing this and doing that. You're still doing it. Because you're trying to separate yourself from the group. We're still a collective. And collectively, we're still idolaters. We're still perverse, and we're still corrupt, and we're still faithless and unbelieving. That's why I mentioned that part with, like I said, right? I'm not being funny, I'm dead serious. Like I mentioned just a moment ago. Niggas with, the only way niggas could get money, get women for the most part is if they had money. Not every dude. Because you got dudes that got money, can come out the house looking bummy and still attract a woman because of the type of man that they are and the confidence that they possess. But you know what I'm saying? Niggas know they use the money to get women because they couldn't get them no other way. So a lot of these poor broke niggas, when they found out they was an Israelite, this was their new way to get a woman. Because I ain't got no money, so how can I attract them? I tell her I'm a priest.
You preach it, Dwayne. Keep on preaching.
You know what I'm saying? I tell him I'm a priest. If I can learn a couple precepts, and why? Because the reason being, because women like power and authority. You know what I'm saying? Most women are attracted to that. Preaching the word is an authoritative position. You know what I'm saying? So if this woman feel like, I can learn something from him, he has the ability to lead, he's solid, they're gonna come. And niggas know this. You know what I'm saying? Niggas know this. That's why they learn a little doctrines, throw a couple precepts out of that, and hope that can get out of draws. When the first thing the woman supposed to consider is, if he was really on this, why is this nigga asking for my draws? Because he wouldn't even be coming at me like that. He wouldn't even be sizing me like that. But the woman is thinking, I trust him, so I like him, so what's the big deal? Because he's not going to stop it. See, a woman will deal with a man who she know. If she know that man will let her do it, then that's who she going to choose. If that's what she want to do. Now, if she know she want to do right and she know that man not going to let her do it, then she going to stay riding with that man because he know he going to keep me in line. You know what I'm saying? But a woman who want to do something, she going to pick the man to let her do what she want to do. And that's what Yashar'al did with the gods we went and served. We picked gods that we knew was going to let us do what we want to do. You know what I'm saying?
I love people worshiping people.
What you said that?
What you said last night? You said 99.9% of people
Don't believe the book.
Oh, okay.
No, man.
For the whole population of Earth.
I'm talking about the whole population of people who profess to believe this book. 99.9% of them don't believe it. And it shows in the things that they do. You don't really, and when I'm talking about believing, not just believing that it's retribution for disobedience, they don't believe the promises. They don't believe the things that were written. They don't actually believe it. It shows in the things they argue. It shows in the things that people do. You don't really believe it. You ain't really trying to be saved. You just doing something just to be doing it.
I already said something like, because people haven't seen y'all so being.
No, I mean, that's not what I would tell you, because I can't remember fully, but it's like this here, right? You can't love somebody who you don't trust. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who you are. I don't care what type of level of relationship it is, period. Whether child to parent, husband to wife, friend to friend. You can't love someone you don't trust. Because trust is a vital component in the love. So how can you fully love somebody and you don't trust them? That's why it doesn't make sense when you see women going through niggas' phones and why you with them? You know what I'm saying? Or you calling her, where you at? What you doing? Who you with? Why you with him? Why is you with him? Why is you doing that? Because that's an insecurity issue. You really don't, you got a problem with yourself and you trying to project this on this woman. Like I told you, I've been in this situation. If I'm with a woman, we together and we in public and a nigga try to talk to her, I'm not finna say nothing. Because the duty is on her first to say, my man right there. You know what I'm saying? Then if the nigga continue, that's when you intervene. Because now you disrespecting her, which means you disrespecting me. You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't talking about y'all standing right here together, holding hands, hugged up, and the nigga tried. Now that's just outright disrespect. You gotta straighten this thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about you in public, you over here, she's over there. You know what I'm talking about? A nigga stepped to her. Because I'd have been in this situation, a nigga looking at me to say something. I'm not saying nothing. That's your job. Because I'm secure with myself. I'm not finna that's my woman. I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? As a grown woman, what you supposed to do? I'm straight, baby. My husband over there. My man over there. I'm good. Because guess what I'm going to do if a woman come at me like that and you with me? I'm not going to look for you to come over there. Why you in my man face? I'm going to tell her, hey, chill, you know. My wife's right there. I'm flattered by your interest, but I'm married. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard to do because you got to be secure in yourself. If you secure in yourself, you ain't worried about this nigga taking your wife. And if he take that stinking hoe with you, because she wasn't never mine in the first place. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't worried about if a nigga take your dude, because if take that raggedy nigga with you, he ain't worth nothing no way. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can take him, he wasn't never yours. See, most people are not that confident and secure in themselves to look at that and feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't care. If you with me, then you with me. And if you don't want to be with me, then deal. But I'm not going to be running behind every nigga. Who that nigga you war with on the phone? You can tell your woman, I don't appreciate you talking to this particular person. Especially if you know if you did something similar, they wouldn't like it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be, people are not secure in themselves. They're not secure in what they believe. They're not secure in what they're doing. That's what I just told you before. Is nigga, you trying to convince me or you trying to convince yourself? Because a lot of stuff people argue about, they're not trying to convince you. They're trying to convince themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell you, right? If a nigga come at me, y'all ain't real. Okay. He's not real, cuz. I'm not finna argue with you about that. I'm secure in that. I'm confident in that. I have no need to argue. Mashiach ain't real. You serve a zombie. I serve a zombie then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the same token on if you know somebody. So I just told you about this other thing. If you know somebody, you really know them, a nigga can't come tell you nothing about that person and you believe it. Because at that point, you didn't know that person. A nigga can't come telling me about my people and I know their character, I know their personality, I know how they move, and expect me to believe that. I know them. So I don't want to hear what you're talking about. You know how many people, marriages and relationships been broke up, bro? She a hoe, bro.
And why you coming to talk to me about my people? And you think I'm about to be cool?
And you think I'm finna fool with that, bro? I know them. You know what I'm saying? I know them. So I'm not purchasing that, what you selling. You know what I'm saying? Because people see insecurities and they play on that. And guess what happens when people find out you're not insecure? They don't like you. Because they wish that they were that secure with themselves. So it shows their weaknesses, and that's why people don't like you. Because I'm running with most women look at that if you don't spaz out or act jealous, she feel like you don't love her or care about her. Why would you want somebody who do all that? You know what I'm saying? Why would you want all of that? Why do you so if I don't do that, that mean I don't love you? I mean I don't care about you because I ain't spazzing. That nigga tried to holler at me. Well, what you told him, ho? That's the question. What did you tell him, ho? Because if you ain't tell that nigga get out your face, then I don't want to hear nothing about it. Well, he kept trying to holler, and you kept entertaining him. Your bag's gonna be at the door when we get to the house. For real though, I would want my woman to feel the same way if I sat here and entertained a woman for too long. You know what I'm talking about? So, did you tell her you had a wife? Yeah. So why was you still talking to this woman?
Well, she has some power.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like if you dealing with the word, you really got it. Like if you married and you preaching, your wife got to be secure. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to deal with women. You know what I'm talking about? And if your woman is a jealous, insecure type person, that's not gonna work. Why you gotta talk to them women all the time? Nigga's business. What you mean? I don't want a nigga. Still got a life problem.
So let me ask you a question. So what you think about? Because we had this conversation. Me and Tommy had this conversation. Because he got a girl that got a lot of male friends, and they constantly call her all the time and text her while they together. What you think about that?
I mean, that's a conversation that you gotta have with your mate. That's an individual, personal conversation.
Because I told Tommy this, sir. I told Tommy, like, within me and my relationship, like, you know, she put aside her male friends. Because, like I told her, I said, if they can't call none of their female family members and check up on them and stuff, and they
okay, I'll put you this way, right? I'll put you this way. If you knew she had male friends when you met her,
yeah,
then you're gonna have to deal with that, and you have to set that at the door. If you don't set that at the door, you can't come back 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months later crying about it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta let them know. I ain't comfortable with them niggas calling your phone.
Tommy, that's what I told Tommy.
But he clearly done been with her at this point. So now you can't come back and set that. Because you knew that from the jump street. Because 9 times out of 10, she probably told you, I got male friends, they call me. You know what I'm saying? So if she's upfront enough to tell you that, then you should be able to trust her enough that it ain't that serious. You know what I'm saying? And if you catch her with a peep, then hey, that ain't the one for you then. Bottom line, but you got to set that at the door. If you tell your woman, I got a lot of female friends, I don't appreciate you talking to all these women, and then you got to, okay, y'all got to have a conversation about that. So then the conversation come down to, are you willing to let her meet your female friends? Is she willing to let you meet her male friends? Because a lot of times those male or female friends, they people probably got husbands and wives. You know what I'm talking about? And it ain't that serious. I'm not finna go off on my woman because she talking to a nigga she went to school with. You know what I'm talking about? Who cares? She's my wife. I don't care if she talking to this nigga. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta be confident. You gotta have secure yourself. But it comes down to having that. Now, if you say, well, do you have a problem with me meeting him, and she balk, that's not the woman for you. You know what I'm saying? If she's having long, detailed conversations with niggas she used to be with, that might not be the woman for you. Cause why you still talking to these niggas in that capacity?
My mama, she put away all her friends.
Okay, but that's something that she chose to do. But what I'm talking about is this is something that you deal with at the door.
Yeah.
You don't wait till a year later, because now you're insecure. That's why you got a problem with it. Because if it was an issue for you, you would have said it at the beginning.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because most women, if she really like you, and most men, if they really like her, and they have friends of the opposite sex, they're going to let that be known up front. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to put you at ease to let you know that it ain't that serious. But I got male friends, I got female friends. We talk. Because guess what's usually gonna happen? This is the clear sign that they might be doing something. That they don't want to have group outings with their male and female friends together with you and your mate. Because if they're your friends, then 9 times out of 10 they're gonna want to do stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, my homegirl and her man, they going to such and such. She invited us, so such and such night we going out here to do this. That's what normal people do. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, white people do it every day. You know what I'm saying? They do it every day. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
Black people had that issue because of insecurity. White people had them insecurity issues too. Don't get it twisted. But white people do it every day. All this stuff you see white people gathered up to, it's because they got a friend of the opposite sex and they be inviting them out. And guess what? Their wives hang with your wife and you hang with they do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Black people don't do stuff like that. You want a nigga to get with you and cut everybody off they ever knew, and that's controlling.
That's a relationship.
Yeah, that's a relationship you don't want to be in. That you want somebody to cut you. But of course not. But again, that's coming with being a mature, secure adult. If you know your wife is with you, and you with your wife, nobody can come between that. No one can take your woman from you. No one can take your man from you. If they leave, they were never with you. That's it, period. That can't happen. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't trust the person you with, you don't need to be with them. Period. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead serious though, bro. I know dudes get offended about that. I don't care who you talk to on the phone. Y'all done heard me say it plenty. You take that hoe, take it with you. If you can take her, take it with you. You just saved me some stress if you could take her. You know what I'm saying? Take that hoe with you. Cause guess what? Somebody else gonna take her from you. Cause if that's how you got it, then how you gonna? You don't even want somebody that do something like that.
Yeah.
Nigga that slide off on you, Because how many people do that? Nigga cheat on their man, cheat on their woman, and then the nigga who they cheated with get in a relationship with them. So you're truly an idiot because you think they're not, all of a sudden I'm going to be faithful and just and upright. That's a character flaw. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. If you can mess with me while you got another nigga, I don't want that. Look what nigga tell you. I done upgraded from side nigga to main nigga. You niggas got low self-esteem. Yeah, niggas say that. That's accomplishment for these niggas. These niggas got low self-esteem. Somebody with high self-esteem will not even go. They won't sacrifice their self-respect and dignity. Where we at, man? Huh? Ezekiel 20, yeah, we in verse 8. 20 and 8.
Verse 8.
And I'm going to tell you something too before we proceed. And if you secure in Yah and Yah in you and you in him, your self-esteem is out the roof. Out the roof. So, well, you'll never sacrifice your dignity and stuff. That's why niggas, I'm being with. That's why niggas like to catch people in the work, women especially when they don't know nothing, before they can get that confidence in Yah built up. You know what I'm saying? That's why they catch them. Because most niggas don't want their woman to be saved. They want to dictate what doctrine she learned. Because then when they dictate what doctrine she learned, then it's easier for them to control her. So they want to control the flow of the information that she received. Because y'all already know, boy, I didn't care who she listened to. And any woman I'm with, I don't care who you listen to. Make sure it's right. You think I'm your husband. You can't listen to nobody else preach the word. Where they do that at? I don't care nothing about that. Because I'm secure in myself. You know what I'm saying? You got to be secure with yourself. You have to be. And if you insecure, you don't need to be with nobody. You need to work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You work on yourself. Because once you get secure with yourself, you can definitely be secure with Yah. That go back to what we were talking about being built on that rock. But they rebelled against me and would not hearken unto me. They did not every man cast away the abomination of the eyes. Neither did they forsake the idols of Mizraim. Then I said, I will pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger against them in the midst of the land of Mizraim. Now, y'all know what he's talking about, right? Y'all know what he's talking about? Because where did he work his wrath on them in the land of Mizraim? When did this happen? What is he talking about? Huh? Did he ever execute wrath on them in the land of Egypt? Huh?
Yeah.
When? No, it didn't. You better look at what he said. They rebelled against me and wouldn't listen to me. Neither did they cast away their abominations, and they did not forsake the idols of Egypt. So let me read verse 9. Maybe that. This is what I'm saying right here, right? But I wrought for my name's sake that it should not be polluted before the heathen among whom they were, in whose sight I made myself known unto them, and bringing them forth out of the land of Mizraim. Wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Mizraim and brought them into the wilderness. So when he talking about them not forsaking idols, he talking about what she mentioned beforehand, when they worship that golden calf.
Yeah, and when they were complaining and groaning
in the wilderness. That's what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? They had, because you got to remember, right? He's running the whole history down. He doing what Stephen did, just in a different fashion. He just ain't mentioning the fathers like Stephen did. He's mentioning your abominations and how you committed them and when you committed them. He said, I gave them my statutes and showed them my judgments, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. Let's look at Leviticus 18:5 so you can see the law that he's quoting. But do you notice how he said that if you do his word, guess what you're going to do? You're going to live in it. So if you don't do his word, guess what that means? You're going to live in sin then. It's just that simple. It's not that you can't do it. It's that you don't want it. Never let somebody, if somebody come at you talking about can't, that's somebody you don't want around you. Now, of course, there's some things in life you know you can't do. Like I can't dunk a basketball. That's never going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I will never have the vertical ability to be able to do that. Not at a rim at regulation height. Of course, if you lower it down, yes, we'll be able to accomplish that task. You know what I'm saying? No, I cannot play NFL football. You know what I'm saying? And I cannot participate in professional bodybuilding because I utterly refuse to get on stage with a thong. You know what I'm saying? I'm dead serious. Y'all know I ain't lying. And they really checking them glutes out too. That's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. Because you know your homeboy want to do that for a minute.
Yeah, he still do. He said he ain't got no problem with putting up no dog and doing that.
Whoa! Oh man. 18 and 4 Leviticus. I definitely have a problem with it because there's a lot of things are supposed to be not supposed to be in your butt, and a small string of fabric is one of them. And I definitely look at you funny if you got one. You know what I'm saying? And that's another instance too. You know, in this society though, a lot of people do some weird stuff, man. Do some weird stuff, and ain't nobody got no problem with it. Niggas overlook it. You know what I'm saying? I was looking at something when nigga was clowning Puffy about what Cameron said in that song about he went to Puffy's house and he had a dildo on the sink.
I thought they said that about Megan.
Yeah, but it was at Puffy's house.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like, you know, I don't know what he got going on. He got a lot of girls come over here. The nigga said, but it's in your bathroom though. The nigga said, I don't know what's in his bathroom. It's in your bathroom. But then they were just showing stuff with 50 questionable photographs of Puff. The only reason why niggas overlook it because it's Puff and he worth $1 billion. If that was a nigga from round the way, that nigga gay. You know what I'm saying? That's what people gonna do. See, when you got a little something, people overlook stuff. You done seen stuff where dudes who famous wear certain clothes and niggas be like, that's gay. And a woman be like, ain't nothing wrong with that. But would you talk to a nigga who walked up to you with that on though? Oh no, I wouldn't talk. So why is it cool for this nigga to do it? You know what I'm saying? You overlook it.
I don't think it's cool for him to do it. I just feel like people that don't ride him know he's gay. They just
True.
respect that he like what he like. But in the open, he's like gay.
Which and then you ain't got no business telling you ain't got no business like Pimp C say, if you're ashamed of what you're doing, you ain't got no business doing it.
I ain't ashamed. Just want to keep it on feet.
You ashamed then. Come on out.
That's his business. I ain't trying to put my woman in shame.
Shoot, she already ashamed. That nigga already. Some of them pictures I see with French Montana, that nigga, she already ashamed. Boy, he look like I ain't even that nigga too. That nigga had titties. How you a skinny nigga with titties? I ain't understand that, but nevertheless. But I ain't even talking about the people around him. I'm talking about the public. You know what I'm saying? Nigga overlook it, look past. Nigga know Russell Simmons gay, nigga overlook it.
Really?
You can't tell that nigga gay?
I'm sorry, I didn't. No, I would have never seen that coming.
You on a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
Now, I be on some other stuff, but shoot, boy, you can look at that nigga and tell that nigga fruity.
I just thought
Fresh and fruity.
Yeah, he didn't give me that.
And
He gave me different vibes.
how many niggas you seen out here got whole wives out here and got a whole boyfriend out here? Well,
I'll give him that. That's fine. It's not
What?
fine, but
I mean, I've been hey, pedophile, shoot, homosexual ain't too far behind. Well, I won't put him as a pedophile, you little pervert. Pedophile, that's small churn. You know what I'm saying? She ain't too far from the age of consent, depending on what state she live in. You know, 30-year-old man messing with a 15-year-old girl ain't normal.
From somebody that worked for, I guess, mayor or senator in Mississippi. Yeah, Alabama.
Yeah, they like young girls. Something wrong with you.
But it was like the age of consent was 16. And it was like, well, he ain't made that law. We know it was some old white man that made that law.
You know, young. You know, I ain't on that, but that nigga Russell Simmons gave him. Nevertheless, you shall do my judgments and keep my. You shall keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am YAHUAH your Elohim. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am YAHUAH. Come on back to Ezekiel 20. Hey, Lizzie, what are you doing? All right then. Verse 12. Moreover, I also gave them my Shabbats to be a sign between me and them, that they may know that I am YAHUAH that sanctified them. We got to drop down some because I can't read all of it. Drop down about verse 24. Now, of course, all that you could go back and look at your own time, but you know, he's just going the fact of how we defiled the Sabbath and continue to worship idols. He said, because they had not executed my judgments, but had despised my statutes, and had polluted my Shabbats, and their eyes were after their fathers' idols. Wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good, and judgments whereby they should not live. A lot of people read this and say they saying that Yah saying his statutes aren't good. He was being sarcastic. I don't see how people miss that. He was being sarcastic. Which, if you notice in this text, Yah is very sarcastic. And rightfully so. And I polluted them in their own gifts. Now, we just talked about this and we're going to look at it. And that they caused to pass through the fire that opened the womb, that I make them desolate to the end, that they may know that I am YAHUAH. What gifts did he pollute them in? We did talk about some of these gifts. What gifts did he pollute them in?
The land.
The land, but also the gifts he referring to specifically in this instance are your own children. Because remember, he say children are a gift from him. But then all the stuff we talked about last week too, the vineyards, the olive yards, the houses, the wells, all these things that you had that I gave you, and then you went and played the whore with. You know what I'm saying? So he polluted you in them. He caused you to be unclean in them because those gifts caused you to forget him. You know what I'm talking about? And you, see, when you're different, so basically what you're looking at is Yah can cause you to be polluted in the very things he blessed you with. People don't even sit back and look at that. How many of y'all even knew that he operated in that fashion? Because he polluted you in your own land. Like she mentioned, he gave you that land. That was a gift. He polluted you in that because he killed you in it. Because you didn't appreciate it. You know, black people don't appreciate nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Not nothing. Not when somebody greater than them give it to them. Because you feel like they were supposed to do it. Therefore the Son of Man speak unto the house of Yashar'al and say unto them, Thus saith YAHUAH Elohim, Yet this your fathers have blasphemed me, and that they committed a trespass against me. For when I have brought them into the land which I lifted my hand up to give it to them, then saw they every high hill and all the thick trees, and they offered their sacrifices. And they presented the provocation of their offerings. They also made their sweet savor and poured out their drink offerings. Then I said unto them, What is this high place whereunto you go? And the name thereof is called Bama unto this day. Does anybody know what Bama is and where it's at? Y'all know what it is? Well, he pretty much told you in the context of the sentence what Bama means. It means high place. It's the place where they worship their idol gods. Let's look in the law and see about it in Numbers chapter 11.
How you spell that? B-A-M-A?
Yeah, it has different spellings though. But Bama is one of them. Yes, sir, that is correct. Hey, Tubby. Oh yeah, what is it? Numbers 11 and what? 18, I want to say. Hey, Gail. Dang, I missed my spot. How you doing, Gail? Hold on. I missed my spot. What you eating, Gail? You eating cookies? Don't fall, Gail. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I gotta remember where I was at with that. I bet it's Numbers 21. 21 to 17. It says we'll make it verse 16. And from thence they went to Beer. That is the well whereof Yahuwah spake unto Moses, Gather the people together, and I will give them water. Then Yashar'al sang this song, Spring up, O well, sing ye unto it. The princes digged the well, and the nobles of the people digged it by the direction of the lawgiver with their staves, and from the wilderness they went to Matnah. So we dealt with this before, y'all might not remember. But when he say that the nobles of the people digged, that word is kafar, and that is to search for or to explore. So when you look at that and them searching and exploring by the direction of the lawgiver, that takes us back to the verse of John 5:39 that we mention all the time, because the lawgiver definitely told you to search the scriptures. For in them you think you have eternal life, but they would testify of me. And the word is compared to what? A water of life. But listen to the next thing he said, right? And from Matnah to Nahil, and from Nahil to Bamoth, and from Bamoth in the valley that is in the country of Moab, to the top of Pigsall, which looked towards Yeshamon. So Bama is actually like, it's in between Palestine and Babylon. It's in Moab, but that was a high place. Now, why is that important? Let's go to Numbers 22. What did I say? Or 24? Yeah, Numbers 22 and 37. And after that, it'll make sense of another story. Does anybody know anybody who got taken up on a high place in the book? Who got took up in a high place?
Like, how close would you get, like, up on top of the mountain?
Yeah.
Well, didn't Yahusha go up on it?
Yes, he did. Yeah, Enoch. It don't say nothing about Enoch going on no mountain.
Elijah. You talking about Elijah?
No, she just told you. Huh? It was the master himself.
Yeah, he was up on top of the mountain. I mean, Moses did too.
Yeah, he did. I'm talking about a high place, a place of worship. When we looking at dealing with, remember that Bama, to be more specific, is dealing with a place of idolatrous worship. So you're going to see how this is going to tie into Yahusha in a moment. 22 and 37. And Balak said unto Balaam, Did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Wherefore came thou not unto me? Am I not able indeed to promote thee to honor? And Balaam said unto Balak, Lo, I come unto thee. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word that Elohim put in my mouth, that shall I speak. And Balaam went unto Balak with Balak, and they came unto Kirjath Huzzah. And Balak offered oxen and sheep, and sent to Balaam and to the princes that were with him. And it came to pass on the morning that Balak took Balaam and brought him up into the high places of Baal. That word Baal is the same word for Bama. That thence he might see the utmost part of the people. So he took Balak took Balaam up onto this high place to get him to worship an idol god, but also to get him offerings to go against Yah. He also said, Am I not able to promote you to honor, right? So let's go to the book of Luke real fast.
Oh, I see where you're coming from with that.
This is a part of how Yahusha was able to redeem you or purchase you from the transgression of the law, because he did not participate in idolatrous work. Do you not think that Yahusha had to be tempted with idol worship just like everybody else?
Yeah.
Didn't we read last night, you are those who were with me in my temptations? Luke chapter 4, right? Let's look at verse 5. It's no different. Because we're going to take a long track with this redeeming you. He got to be tempted with every transgression that you were tempted with to a certain extent. Because we were tempted with idolatrous worship, and Hashatan is going to tempt him to do the same thing. And he had to take him up on Bama, or the high place of Baal, to be able to do that. And the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said unto him, All this power will I give thee, because I'm able to promote you to honor, and the esteem of them, for that is delivered unto me to whomsoever I will give it. If thou therefore will worship me, all shall be thine. And Yahusha answered and said unto them, Get thee behind me, Hashatan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship YAHUAH thy Elohim, and him only shalt thou serve. See, he remembered what the law said. Now Yahusha could have easily went and say, Sure, Satan, why not? But then he would just be as guilty as his forefathers by serving idols. So how clearly a man can redeem you from the transgression of idol worship if he refused it himself? See, a nigga just sit back and look at that's the devil. But remember, worship means to bow down or to prostrate to. He refused to bow down and worship an idol god. Remember what we looked at last week? Dagon fell down and worshiped before YAHUAH. You know what I'm talking about? So when we look at this here, right, this is one of the things that we have to look at. Now, we talked about something else, and we're going to transition, because I definitely want to hit this one particular matter. You can come back to Ezekiel 20, though. With the prisoners, because this is a long process, right? Because we're going to pinpoint every single solitary thing. But the thing that we see in Ezekiel 20 that he pointed at the most was the violation of idol worship. The other thing that he pointed out the most was the violation of the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Now, we know our people love to argue about the Sabbath. Today's not the Sabbath. Sunday's not the Sabbath. That's all you niggas want to argue about. That nobody has any definitive proof either way to promote their stance, other than anybody saying, Hey, nigga, this the week we live in. This the 7 day of the week, and I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? Because we know. He don't know. I done been on conversation with some of your friends that say, Oh, you go to Sabbath by the new moon. Cool. I don't got no problem with that. You got book for that? See, you gotta read 1 Samuel 20. Nigga, that ain't what that say, cuz. Oh, you gotta read Exodus 16. Nigga, that ain't what that say, cuz. Because if you ask specifically, show me 7 days from the new moon and that's your Sabbath, why you can't show me that? Why you can't show me in the law where it say, he said he made the moon for sign? Nobody's arguing you with that. So you can always catch when a nigga don't know what he talking about when he points you to scripts that are outside what you asked him for. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't show me then you can't tell me that that's definitive, authoritative. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the Sabbath by the new moon. It's on the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. Can you show me that? Why you gotta have Bible to see everything? What? You just gave me a doctrine from the book, and then you want me to believe it because you told it to me? No, I'm not gonna do that. And we all know, everybody in this room know, Yah is very specific. He's very detailed on what he wants you to do and how he wants you to do it. You know what I'm talking about? So he don't leave stuff to chance. He don't leave stuff to interpretation. You know what I'm saying? Because then that would be foul on his part, wouldn't you say? He don't operate. That's how, if you know your Elohim, you know how he operate. Did you think he left it up to chance on not committing adultery? He pretty much told you plainly what that was. You know what I'm saying? He told you, keep my Sabbath. How do we know it's the Sabbath? How do you know what calendar did they use? You nigga, you so worried all about that, and you can't keep your penis in your pants. You can't stop telling lies, but you trying to figure out a calendar. Nigga, your faith, you don't even believe in your God, but you figured out his calendar though. Not to say that this information is not vital to search out and know, but we talking about perspective.
But a lot of people do say that because they say the Gregorian calendar, the Roman calendar that we under is a pagan calendar.
Okay, at the end of the day though, this man ain't never said nothing about anything pagan other than the fact that don't worship their gods, if we want to get specific with the text. Like at the end of the day, if we really want to get specific about being pagan, and all being pagan means is to be a heathen or a stranger. That's all it means. You know what I'm saying? That's all it means. It doesn't mean something intrinsically evil. Because by definition, we pagans. Because this is not our land. We strangers here. By definition. Right or wrong? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when did he ever say, don't follow a pagan calendar? Don't follow pagan. He just told you don't follow their customs. Your custom is your manner of life. So how they live, he told you not to live.
Clearly, he was following the calendar.
Clearly, he was following the calendar in Babylon. The months that these niggas use and list are from Babylon. The names of them. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about we just deal with what's written. He never told us, don't follow their calendar. He never told you that. If you choose not to do so, I will not knock you for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say you sinning or you evil or nothing. That's your personal choice. And I ain't mad at you. I'm not mad at you if you want to research it. But just like he said, we exclude the weightier matters of the law to argue about things that have no consequence. That's my point, really. The weightier matters of the law, the judgment, the mercy, and the faith. Nobody want to talk about that. The love of Elohim, don't nobody want to talk about that. But you want to argue me by the calendar. You want to argue me by how many wives you got. You can't even satisfy the one you already got. And I ain't talking about physically, I'm talking about mentally and emotionally and spiritually. You can't even satisfy her that. But you want 3 more. You can't even satisfy your children with proper leadership, but you want more. That doesn't make sense. But you can tell me you can tell me how to count time though. The earth's flat, why you don't see no curve in the horizon? I got a curve in my heart though. Can you show me that? Can you help me fix that? Then we can deal with the earth flat part. You know what I'm saying? But can you fix what's inside of me that's wrong? Can you fix the fact it's lies in my heart? Can you fix that? But you want to fix lies in the textbook. That's my point. That's not minimizing or ridiculing, none of that. Because it all has its place.
Yeah, you right.
He's trying to fit it to them, so they don't got to change.
So they don't got to change. And think y'all gonna reward them. That was some diligent research you did on that flat earth, brother. Some diligent research. Boy, you's a shark. Woo-hoo-hoo! You ain't getting in my kingdom though.
Figured out that mystery, huh?
Mm-hmm. Nigga don't know Mashiach, but they can uncover every other lie.
Come on.
Why that nigga?
Why you sounded just like that?
Why that nigga sound like an old uncle in the back of the church?
All right, D. All right.
DeAndre. You know,
Hey, come on, man.
DeAndre is something else.
20 and 36, man. We got to roll. Well, y'all shout out, man. I can't do nothing with you.
DeAndre said, man, I bet you Dwayne still think the earth spinning.
And you know the crazy part? But you know what the crazy part is? Did I ever say the earth was spinning?
No, you never told me.
I never said if I believed the earth was flat or not. I said I didn't care. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know how he believe. You don't know if I believe the earth spin or not. I could believe the earth flat. You wouldn't know 'cause I don't care. I said, nigga, I'm not on that.
Yeah.
I said, if I was to come in here on the Shabbat and talk to them about that, these niggas gonna hang a nigga from the rafters. You wasted my Shabbat with this? I don't care nothing about nigga. We can talk about that on a Tuesday, nigga. Hit me on the conference line. Don't waste my Sabbath with that nigga. That's what I told the clown nigga. But because the nigga, see, that's what I mean when you don't entertain a clown, then he feel like that you own some, oh, he believe the earth round. Why? Because I didn't want to have a conversation with you?
Right.
I don't want to have a conversation because I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, go get your, see that, well, he got him a wife now, that's your problem. You worry about everything else, nigga, go worry about your family. You know what I'm saying? That nigga worry about the earth flat, but you were fornicating. So who going to hell? You know what I'm talking about? And then when niggas was pointing at him when he was going through it because he was fornicating with a $2 slut and she was dragging him and he was depressed posting on the book every other day and looking for sympathy and niggas say, well, you shouldn't have been sinning. You don't know my life. What?
Right.
You know that's what the nigga did.
Yeah, I know, I already know.
Nigga kill me with that. You sin and nigga say, well, you shouldn't have been sinning. You don't know my life. What kind of...
You want to say you believe it?
Straight up. You could show me the earth flat, but you couldn't show me self-restraint with keeping your penis in your pants. So why would I listen to you? Surely Yahuwah has sent you. Listen to my son here. He can show you how the earth is flat. He can't discipline his penis, but he can teach you that. Come on, man. That ain't even real. What real man gonna take that? Verse 36. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mizraim, so I plead with you, saith Yahuwah Elohim. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. In the winter, we're going to take this back to, this is what happened. We're not going to look at this in future tense. We're going to look at, this is what he did the first time. He was seeking to bring us in the bond of the covenant, and he purged out the rebels. Let's go look at Hebrews chapter 3 and see how he did it. All I be talking about is perspective, man. Priorities. That's it. See, I'm done with when you don't want to engage, and this is Hebrews 3 and 15. When you don't want to engage in particular conversations, people automatically assume that you believe contrary to what the conversation is about. Versus that I do not feel the need to waste my time with this particular conversation at this particular time. Because I ain't never told nobody in here not to study if the earth is flat around. And if you got some information you want to show me, I'll gladly take a look at it. You know what I'm saying? But if you think that I'm going to be diligently studying that and preaching that on the Sabbath, yeah, man, I can sell you a 50 rock. And you can smoke that because I'm not going to do it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I really don't care. Because guess what? If one person can raise their hand and say, I ain't filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, then throwing about if the earth is flat around is irrelevant. That person's soul ain't saved. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole key thing. If a nigga can raise their hand and say my soul ain't saved, that's not a lesson they need to hear. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? If a nigga can raise their hand and say, boy, if I die tonight, I'm going to hell. Well, boy, we got to get on something to get his faith right, get his soul right. Earth flat around ain't saving his soul. You know what I'm saying? That's the conversation we can have amongst ourselves and go through the text and break that down. Not waste your Sabbath day on it. Not waste a feast Sabbath or a feast day on it. It's perspective. You know what I'm saying? He said, while it is said today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your heart, as in the provocation. For some, when they heard, did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Mizraim by Moses, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness? And to whom swear he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not. So we see they couldn't enter in because of unbelief. See, I'm going to tell you something too, conversely, because a nigga say you don't believe in Yah if you don't believe the earth flat. I would only not believe it as if there was overwhelming evidence out the text, and I seen that and I rejected it. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, a nigga's not engaging in that argument because niggas look to have that argument all the time, and the nigga's not on that. Niggas bring up the things that they want to argue and debate about when you're not even having a discussion about that topic. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not even talking about that because you looking for a means to argue what you want to argue. You know what I'm saying? And niggas not on that. You know what I'm saying? Take the step to do this here. Have faith in your God first. That's the first and foremost thing. Because that's what we see why that's why they didn't enter in, because of unbelief. Then move to obey your God. But before you can move to obey your God, learn to what he wants you to obey. Then once you've done that, have faith in the man whom he sent in his name. How would you be able to have faith in him? Because you believed in the one who sent him and in the testimony that he left of him, and you were obeying those words and that. Therefore, you would see his son clearly to trust him and obey him. Then once you've mastered that by cleansing yourself from all filthiness of the flesh and ruach, then learn other things of that nature. Just follow it in the proper step, in the proper guide. You can't jump to where's Jerusalem, when's the Sabbath, and your heart's not clean, and your faith is not right, and you don't have understanding. Because if you don't have understanding, you're worthy of death. Get those things knocked out the way. Get a consistent pattern of clean, set apart living out the way, and then go seek after that. See, most of our people feel like because they know the laws that they've done that. Get sealed with the Ruach, then go seek after that. You know what I'm saying? That's all the nigga. That's all I really be saying. I just don't never really put it that plainly. I just say I don't want to talk about it because it's not profiting me or you or anyone who hears us.
So you said nigga have all the knowledge and still go.
And still go to hell.
What profit is that?
Because your faith wasn't on point. And if your faith is not on point, your obedience is not going to be on point. You can't show me one faithful person whose obedience is not on point. We ain't talking about a nigga stumble, you make a bad decision. Because he said, we talked about that a couple weeks ago, right? He said if you sin, you got an advocate. We talking about if you faithless, you will be faithless in your obedience. Because it'll be one thing and another thing and another thing and another thing and another, because you're not on that. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't really believe in that. You didn't really trust in that. Because if you did, you will remain faithful. That's why I say a virtuous woman is always going to love a righteous man. Because she's going to see this as a faithful man just like he's going to see that's a faithful woman. They're going to recognize each other. That's why he said if he was your Elohim, you would have as a virtuous woman, you would have recognized Yahushua. You would have recognized him. She'd have said, shoot, that's a righteous man. Shoot, that's who I want to be my husband. You know what I'm saying? Back to Zechariah chapter 9, verse 11. All the reason why I use those analogies for you to recognize Elohim. You should be able to know him and recognize him, whether he's in a man or in a woman. You should be able to recognize him. And if you drawn to Elohim by his word, then you should be drawn to those who are of him. That's common sense. That's my whole point, to get you to focus on God is in her, God is in him. If you could see that, then why would you reject that? Because if you reject the person who you say God is in, then you'll reject God then. That's just that's how I see it. I don't know how y'all see it. How y'all see it?
Yeah, because those First Thessalonians 4, and they say it is not. Man.
Yeah, he say he that despiseth not man, but Elohim, because he's given unto us his Ruach HaKadosh. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, I don't know how y'all perspective is on that and see it. Because if I recognize y'all was in a woman, why would I reject her? I'm talking about, it doesn't matter the capacity of what you're dealing with her in. The capacity is irrelevant. I'm talking about if you recognize y'all as in a woman, why would you reject her? Why would you not be friends with her? Why would you not be family with her? Or if you were interested in her, why would you not attempt to court her to marry her? That doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? If you recognize y'all, and we're not talking about no preaching, no prophesying. We're talking about y'all being in somebody. So if you recognize y'all was in a man, why wouldn't you want that man to be your friend? Why wouldn't you want that man to be your brother? Or if you were a woman, why would you not be interested in that man being your husband? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Preaching aside. Because y'all can be in you and you don't be no preacher. You know what I'm saying? Zechariah 9:11. As for thee also by the blood of the covenant, I sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. Remember how we talked about this? The blood of the covenant. Now who are the prisoners in the pit? In any aspect of what y'all can think of.
Prisoners in the pit.
Who are prisoners in the pit? You know, those are prisoners in the pit. That is correct. Who else could you think of as a prisoner in the pit?
The people that died before Mashiach.
Yeah, the people that died on the faith.
Joseph was a prisoner in the pit. Can anybody think of another prisoner that's in the pit? Jeremiah was in the pit. He definitely was incarcerated. Daniel definitely was locked up as well.
Peter.
Isaiah.
Us.
Yeah.
You were in Egypt and you were prisoners in a pit. And there was no water. What did we just read in Numbers 21? What were they asking for? Because they were just coming out of a pit where there was no what? And what did he give them? You know what I'm saying? So this is the reason we using this analogy, because he said by the blood of the covenant. When was the blood of the covenant sealed? When we sacrificed that lamb and with those Egyptians. Now we have a word for that. So hold on. Stinking bastard. Maybe this one will work. Action. 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 Of course, y'all make sure y'all can see that. Of course, you need to be going from here up. But we're going to get to that in a moment. So he said, the prisoners of hope, you need to turn to the stronghold because he'll render you double. So we're dealing with, as for the blood of the covenant, correct? So he mentioned Joseph, right? We need to go look at Joseph real fast because we talked about a lot of other things. I got 30 minutes. I can fit it all into. But first thing what we're going to do is, let's do this. Psalms 146. Wouldn't you say you were a prisoner? If you're a prisoner, what's another word you could use for prisoner? Captive. And what's another word you would use for captive? Slave. So he calling you slave. Did not Paul say he was a slave of Mashiach? So there is no offense of being a slave to Elohim versus being a slave to man. Because you're a prisoner of his hope. You're a prisoner of faith. Because he said, for the blood of the covenant, you prisoners of hope. So we say that's only for them who believe in him. That trust in that blood. Because guess what? You had to trust in that blood to protect you in Egypt. Because you were in a hole. Remember what he said? Those that didn't come out of that pit were those who didn't what? Didn't believe. See, faith is the thing that's going to get a lot of people something to hell, man. I'm trying to tell you. I'm going to be honest with you, right? And this is how I see it. In all three aspects. A faithful man is probably the most precious thing that any woman could ever come across. And vice versa. It's fourth as you see somebody got faith in y'all, that's somebody you want to roll with. And if you get your children like that, you done did a masterful job. You know what I'm talking about? If you could teach your children to have an unwavering, undying faith in YAHUAH, you done did a masterful job. And
so you saying that? So you saying people have faith in the blood?
Meaning they had to have faith in YAHUAH that blood would protect them as he said it would.
So is that why you hear people saying by the blood of Jesus?
Yeah, I mean, because they use those terms. Is it necessarily? Well, even it even says it in the text. Or having faith in his blood, or having faith in his death, or have, you know what I'm saying? It says that. But all that pleading the blood and all that type of stuff, that people talk. I plead the blood. Now, man, ain't tell you to plead no blood. You just better plead the name of Yahushua. You don't need the blood. The blood just a sign of a covenant, not nothing to plead with. Psalms 146 and 3. Listen what he tell you, right? Put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. His breath go forth, he return to his earth, and that very day his thoughts perish. See, that's a hard thing for you to realize, that when you die, everything stops. Everything stops. Like you sleep, but you don't know you sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because you know when you sleep, you still be thinking. You have your little dreams. Some of you, so I can have full-fledged thoughts in my head. I done had all manner of verses come to my head while I sleep and don't remember none of them when I wake up. And I hope you bring them back to remembrance. Real talk. Real talk. But when you dead,
when you sleep,
yeah, all the time. All the time. Yeah, all the time. I have all type of stuff like, yeah, man, I done put whole lessons together in my sleep. That's serious. Like verse come to my head, it could be like 5 or 6 of them. I might only remember 2, 3. I might not remember none of them. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, dang, man, I can't remember that verse that was going through my head while I was sleeping. Straight up and down. Not no y'all appearing to me and give me no verse. Like, I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if other people think while they sleep, but yeah, I do think while I'm asleep. And I'm consciously aware that I'm thinking while I'm asleep. Not no dream or nothing. Baruch is he that have the Elohim of Yaakov for his help, whose hope Yahuwah Elohim is. Whose hope is in Yahuwah his Elohim, which made Shamahim and Aras in the sea, therein, which keep truth forever. So you would see what he said, if he keep truth forever, what he keeping forever? Faith. Faithfulness. Go on, little cookie. Smell like cookies. He said, which execute judgment for the oppressed, which give food to the hungry. Yahuwah loose the prisoners. Now let's look at the word for prisoner. The word for prisoner is this word right here. And it is a sar. This is a word for prisoner. It means to tie, to bind, to imprison. So we all know what Aleph mean, right? What does character Aleph mean? We should all know what that means, correct? Go ahead and tell them, Stanley. They don't want to help us out.
Verse, leader.
And we got the Samak. So what does that mean, Stanley? Help us out.
Support, handle, staff.
I believe so. Let me double check. But I believe you are correct, sir. Shoot, me and you both. And where is that? And Stanley is correct. So give Stanley a round of applause. Stanley, a round of applause. He was on point. He said a hand or support. And then we should all know what the Rosh is, correct? Y'all know, you know what that is? Huh? No. That's my aim there. Rosh means the same thing as the olive. The head.
The head.
Means head first. So what do we get out of that if we look at what it is to be a prisoner or a saw? We'll sit back and look at that. The head or the right hand is your support. Or the right hand of the head is your support. Because we don't need to use both of these, they mean the same thing. So if you're a prisoner of hope, then it means that the right hand of the head is your support. That makes that word take on a whole different type of meaning, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. When you say that, but this people rob and spoil, they all smear their clothes, and they are hid in prison house and therefore pray none to deliver.
So he said, when he say he loosed the prisoners, he's saying he's loosing those who are being supported by his right hand. That means he's loosing those who are supported by Mashiach. That's what he's telling. Now, you know, there's some dudes, I just seen a dude talking about, does anybody believe Paleo-Hebrew is a language? Whether you were using modern or Paleo-Hebrew, the characters still mean the same thing. You're drawing them different. But they mean the same. Rosh means head, regardless if you draw it in Paleo or whether you draw it in modern. It doesn't matter. You know, but you have some brews that don't believe that this is relevant in doing this. And that's their choice. Who cares? But nevertheless, let's look at somebody whose support was Yahuwah, because he said he loosed the prisoners, which is the gentleman he just mentioned that we should all know. And that's Joseph. Let's go take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. Let's get us Genesis chapter 42, I want to say. Let's see, Genesis 39, I should say, actually. And after that, John chapter 6. Genesis 39 and 19. 505. Abigail's right, not too far behind. And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, which he spake unto him, saying, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners was bound, and he was there in the prison. But Yahuwah was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. So now he's in the prison. Now, did not Joseph pray to Yahuwah while he was in the prison? Well, let's look at Psalm 79 and 11. In 11. Remember, if he's loosing the prisoner, he's loosing you from your bounds. Because he talks about the prisoner a lot, but we see that you're a prisoner of hope. That means the head of the right hand is the support of your hope. Psalm 79 and 11. He said, let the sighing of the prisoner come before thee, according to the greatness of thy power. Preserve thou those that are appointed to die. He said, let the sign come before the sign of the prisoner. Well, let's see if Mashiach sighed. Matthew 26. Then he say, preserve those who are appointed to die. Then we'll look at Matthew 16 and see if he was appointed to die. And if he was appointed to die, then who was Yahushua support? It was his head. Absolutely. So, but you see, why did our people not get in? Because the head was not their support. That's why if you notice he talk about freeing the prisoners all the time, because those who are bound, their support, their hope, their trust is in Yahuwah. That's their support. But niggas love to say you don't visit the people in prison. Man, these niggas are criminals. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, I was a criminal. You coming to see me wasn't gonna get you no points with y'all when I was in prison, nigga. Nigga, I wasn't in here for righteousness' sake. I was in for selling crack. And the nigga sitting next to me sleeping in here for murder. And the nigga up the bump in here for selling, in here for robbing. And some of these niggas might be pedophiles and rapists. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, we are not the creme de la creme of righteousness in here, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. But when he talk, because I'm talking about the book of Matthew, when he say visit those who are in prison, he talking about people like Jeremiah. He was talking about Mashiach. He was talking about Peter. He was talking about people like that who got, Samson. They were locked up. Also another word for that, you can see that this same word, asar, is used for bind as well in some places, depending on the verse. You know what I'm saying? What I say, Matthew 26. Yeah, Matthew 26, what buddy there? About verse 36. This is what he say, right? Then come Yahushua with them unto a place called Jessamine, and saith unto the disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with them Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith unto them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thy will. Is he not showing that he's a prisoner of hope? Because we don't got to read. You know Matthew 16, he told them what? That I got to be killed by the chief priests and scribes and elders and be raised the third day. You know what I'm saying? So he laid his support on his head. That's why he said, to whom is the arm of Yahuwah revealed? You know what I'm talking about? And who had believed his report? Because that hand or that right hand is your support. And that goes back to when we were talking about the rock, of being built upon the rock, the chief cornerstone. That is your support. Don't a strong foundation hold a house up? That's your support, because you're a prisoner of hope. See, but the niggas don't want to talk about stuff like that, because then that'll cause you to read, because that's vain knowledge that niggas be arguing about. We're not getting no profit from that, because my faith is not to the point where I can move to allow my head to support me. Mashiach said repeatedly, he that believeth on me, believe not on me, but him that sent me. He said, if you receive me, you receive not me, but him that sent me. And it's like what he said repeatedly. People say, oh, he's not the prophet of Deuteronomy 18. He said, whoever hear his words, he's going to accept them. Because that will show you that I am your support. It's no different. He son Moses. If you believe Moses' words, then you believed Elohim. Because he son him, because he was the head to give you the support. Mashiach just filled that role. See, they like to say, Yahushua, son of Nun, is it? What miracles did he work?
And another thing too,
he didn't do that.
With me, because I tell them, I say, well, if it was Joshua, then you also got to read and Deuteronomy, what's it, 32, where it says, and there arose not another prophet like unto Moses.
Yeah, I already know that, but that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Let's go sick and look at another place, John 19. Let's see if Mashiach groaned, and he heard that groaning and delivered him who was appointed to die. Because did Mashiach raise from the dead or not? He definitely did. Guess what though? Just like he said, blessed are your eyes, for you have seen, but blessed are those who have not seen, yet have believed. Because none of us saw him get up. You weren't there. I wasn't there. You know what I'm talking about? That means we believe the record of Elohim, which he left of his son, which means we believe him. See, that's what niggas missing. Like I hear niggas say, nobody worship Yahushua. I bet you lying, nigga. Don't you niggas know worship mean to bow down, stupid? If you don't think nobody bow down to this man, you smoking rocks. What book did you read? Because it's all in there that these people bow down. That is common courtesy to bow down to a king. Are you serious? John chapter 19, verse 28. He said, after this, Yahushua, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. Now there was a set vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar, and put it upon the hyssop, and put it to his mouth. And when Yahushua therefore had received the vinegar, he said, it is finished, and he bowed his head and gave up the ruach. Let's look in Luke 20:23 and see if we see the same thing of him groaning. Because at this point, is he not a prisoner? Is he not bound? Now let's look at what he said in Luke. Luke 23:46. All we looking at is if our head leaned his support when he was a prisoner on his head, then we ought to be leaning because he's our head. Because he said the head of the woman is the man, the head of the man is Mashiach, the head of Mashiach is Elohim. So who is directing you? Yahushua is directing you. So he needs to be your support. He said, when Yahushua cried with a loud voice, he said, Abba, into thy hands I commend my ruach. Having said thus, he gave up the ruach. Is he not groaning? Is he not groaning in his spirit? Did he not loosen? He freed him. So where did he let his hope at? So we have to sit back and see the same thing. That goes back to what we talk about in John 11. He say, whoever believe and live and believe in me will never see death. Believe thou this? Because he came to set you free out of the pit where there was no water. When he say the pit where there was no water, let's look at it in this aspect. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 7, I want to say. So those prisoners of hope had no hope of eternal life. They were waiting for it. He say, by the blood of the covenant. We know what Matthew 26:28 say. This is my blood, which is shed in a new covenant for many for remission of sins. So therefore, this is able for the prisoners of hope to be freed from the pit where there was no water. We know that Joseph ended up becoming freed from the pit where there was no water because he put his hope on Yahuwah. Yahuwah freed him. And I got more stuff with the prison. We may have to swing it around. That way I can draw it out of everything that we got to deal with this here, because it's more. Because you know you got Ecclesiastes 4 and 14, and you can go look in the archives. There's a video named exactly what's in Ecclesiastes 4 and 14. Matter of fact, that's what I used when we were talking when I was telling Dolores to them about that. About preaching to the spirits in prison. Now, most of these people in the room know that we done looked at him preaching to the spirits in prison at least 8 different ways. There is numerous examples in the text that talk about that. All through it. Because we know we need a validation for him preaching to the spirits in prison. Not because Peter said it. But you know what his homeboy said preaching to the spirits in prison was? That Yahushua went to preach to people who were locked up. Where we read him preaching to anybody who were locked up? I don't read that anywhere. I don't read Yahushua going to no prison to preach to nobody.
He said he went to hell.
That's the grade. So he would prove him a point.
No, he said to the actually feared place.
Well, that's because he don't know hell mean grave. So that's whose fault is that? But I told him hell mean equals Sheol, which equals grave, which equals pit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. We make stuff hard on ourselves. 2 Corinthians, what? I said 3 and 7. We'll go with 3 and 6, though. He said, who have also made us able ministers of the new covenant. Remember, right? Not of the letter, but of the Ruach, for the letter killed, but the Ruach give life. How was the Ruach able to give life? Because we know from Romans 8, what did he say? That Yahushua was resurrected from the dead. We know a testament is of no effect as long as the testator live. He said, the words that I speak unto you are Ruach and they are life. It's the Ruach that quicken or make alive. So it was the covenant and him dying, fulfilling the words of Elohim, which was able to give life, which is the blood of the covenant for the prisoners of hope, that they were able to come out of the pit where there was no water. Because now you didn't have any everlasting life, now you have it. But the whole point of being a prisoner is trusting Yah. You can't tell me you trust Yah, you don't trust His salvation. Because salvation in a lot of parts in the text in Hebrew is simply His name. It's Yahushua's name. And them niggas quick to scream His name ain't in the text. You lying. It is in the text. You want him to say Jesus is His name. That's what you want him to do. Because you really don't believe, because you want it that plain and that simple. You know what I'm saying? Nigga don't really believe the book. I stand by that. 99.9% of people do not actually believe what is written in this book. It's based off the questions that they ask, the things that they say. Not that I'm saying that asking questions is bad. That's why I said the questions they ask, because they ask questions that somebody who believe wouldn't ask. Not questions you don't understand, or things you don't understand, or things you don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. He said, but if the ministration of death written and engraved in stones was esteemed, so that the children of Yashar'al could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses, for the esteem of his countenance, which esteem was to be done away, how shall the ministration of the Ruach be rather esteemed? For if the ministration of condemnation be esteemed, much more doth the ministration of righteousness exceed in esteem. And that's when we go back to, when we go get to dealing with, say, the matter of fringes. That is not a ministration of righteousness. I don't care what a nigga say. That is not a service of righteousness. You putting some cloth and fabric at the bottom of your shirt. Because that means if there's something that's coming to exceed the first covenant, then that means it has to be greater. Something has to be greater than what's to stop you from a whoring after your own heart and serving other gods, and to remember to keep this man's commandments. It has to be something that has to be greater than that supersedes it. That's common sense. But you know what our people's problem is? They want to hold on to that first covenant if you pay attention. They don't want to let that first covenant go and take hold of the garment of Mashiach. They don't want to do what that woman who had the issue of blood did and grab onto the hem of his garment. They want to hold on to those tables of stone.
So does that mean they really don't have faith in what they believe, right?
That is correct.
Right.
That is correct.
So even though they can keep the law, they don't have no faith.
That is correct.
They keep it.
Correct. Because you lack understanding. Am I mad at any brews that want to wear fringes? Nah, I ain't mad. But you ain't gonna make me feel bad about you ain't keeping the culture. See, you know that it ain't got nothing to do with righteousness, because the first thing a nigga say is culture.
Right.
That's the first thing come out of nigga mouth. It's culture. And if they are IUIC niggas, you ain't keeping the law. Therefore, I don't want to talk to you. But you sit every day, nigga, with them on. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? You can do what you wish and you can feel how you want to feel. You know what I'm saying? That junk don't matter to me. You know what I'm talking about? But we already dealt with that verse. Hold on. Let's look at Acts chapter 26. And after that, I want to say 1 Timothy chapter 3. I say we're gonna come back to the prison, because we got a lot of stuff with the prison. We want Isaiah. Let's also get us matter of fact, let's pause on that. Swing to Ecclesiastes 4 and 14. And 14, yes sir. We'll carry this prison part over. Yahuwah willing. But I just want y'all to make sure that this word asar is at the forefront of your brain. So when you read the stuff about being bound or being in prison, you can understand what he's talking about. Now, Ecclesiastes 4 and 14 says, for out of the prison he come to reign, whereas also he that is born in his kingdom become poor. Now, we dealt with him being in his kingdom born poor. That's him that is born in his kingdom has humbled himself. In order to be born again, you got to humble yourself. He said if you lack two things, what's going to keep you out of the kingdom? When he said you must be born again, what's the two things you got to have? What is the two things you have to be born of? My apologies.
Water and of the spirit.
The water and of the Ruach, the water and of the spirit. He said without that, you cannot enter in. So if he's saying you being born of the water and the Ruach, to be born of the water, guess what that means you have to do? You had to be immersed, which means you had to go into the pit where there was no water, because there's no eternal life in the grave. There was no eternal life in the grave. So that means you had to do what Mashiach did, who fashioned himself as a man and humbled himself even to the death of the state. And Elohim gave him a name which is above all names. So when he's telling you got to be born of the water and the Ruach, you got to humble yourself. You're going to have to humble your hand under yourself under the mighty hand of Elohim, and he'll exalt you in due time. So if you don't humble yourself, how can you be born again? And if you're not born again, then you can't enter into his kingdom, because he said everyone that is born, he that is born in his kingdom has become poor. Anybody that entered the kingdom of Elohim must be made humble, which is what the chastisement and the tribulations and the persecutions are supposed to bring about. Because he said whoever doesn't endure chastening is not a son but a bastard. and no bastard has any right to anything. So when he say he come out of his prison to reign, that's the same word for prison right here. Spell it out, it's assault. This is what he came out of. We know Hamashiach rose from the dead to do what? To rule. He rose him from the dead who was appointed to death. The same way we look at Joseph being rose from the dead in order to reign. Because what happened to Joseph? Let's look at it. I think it's Psalm 106. It'll tell the story a little better. Because I'm going to be honest with you, right? You know, we deal, you know, the new covenant got a lot of stuff, the letters got a lot of stuff, but dealing with the law, you know, we're going to have to deal with the Old Testament. I remember I told you when I first started dealing with this here, he had me in the first half of the book more than anything. Because then when we actually look at all this stuff in the first half and we swing to the second half of the book would be elementary, my dear Watson. It'd be nothing. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the things that we reading, you got to reference this stuff back before you even jump in dealing with Mashiach. That's what people be messing up at, because they don't know the law, they don't know the writings, they don't know the prophets, and they try to jump and deal with stuff before the time. What is this? Psalm 106. Man, I just was looking at this. My apologies. Psalms 105 and verse 16. My apologies. That's Psalms 105 verse 16. We got to get ready to slide, but I can still fit a little bit more in. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. He sent a man before them, even Yosef, who was sold for a what? So do we need to cross-reference it, do we not? Matthew chapter 20 and 27. And then we need to cross to see if Yahushua was sold as a servant. Because if he's sold as a servant, then guess what Joseph was sold to be? A slave. A captive. Ain't nothing to be ashamed of. If you a slave for Mashiach, what you ashamed of? Ain't nothing to be ashamed of. I heard a nigga say that because I believe somebody, you a slave. Sure, I'm proud of it too. See, I try not to get engaged because, you know, I'm very sarcastic. You know what I'm talking about? And I have no problem flexing that at any given time. So I try to avoid these dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll make you want to fight me. I can care less. Straight up now. Especially if I know you stupid. If I know you stupid, I won't even talk to you. What's the point? What's fun in that if I know you stupid? You know what I'm saying? That's like picking on somebody you can beat up. Get no points for that.
You need to tell the boss and them that because they be coming for you a lot.
They don't come for me.
DeAndre.
I know. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, let's just keep it real. You ain't coming for me if you don't come talk to me.
Yeah.
See, you can't come for me talking to another nigga. You can't.
Yeah.
So we all know what type of attribute that is, and we'll leave that right where it's at. You know what I'm talking about? Right or wrong? I'll ask you, can a man come for you if he don't say nothing to you? So how's a man coming for you if he say it to another man? Is he coming for you? He just running his mouth. Cause get what? If they wanted to holler at me, they could get in contact with me. It ain't hard. They know you don't. I'm friends with one of them, man. Yep. Ain't hard. So you ain't coming for me. They really trying to come for you and trying to throw my name on it. That's all. And we know that ain't manly at all. Ain't man. All the nigga want to do is argue. That's all the nigga want to do. Guess what? Before we proceed, every time I done talk to them niggas and I say let's pull script and go script for script, they ain't never want to do it then. They just want to talk then. What your opinion is? That's how I know I want to deal with you. Let's deal with this book. Cause I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. Matthew 20 and 25. I don't want to talk. Y'all gonna do the talking. Cause you ain't gonna argue about that. We showed the nigga clear day. Mashiach say he the beginning of the creation of Elohim. He said that ain't what that mean. I know you going to hell. Cause that man said he was the beginning of creation. Who am I to argue with him? Right or wrong? I ain't arguing with him. He said it, not me, nigga. You ain't gotta exegete the text. I ain't gotta exegete nothing. The man said he was beginning of the creation of God. Nigga, what more you want to see? Shoot, nigga, what you mean? That's like telling that's like Lizzie or Isaiah or Leah or Abigail telling Muffin, you didn't birth me. I didn't what? I got the records to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you serious, nigga? But Yahushua called unto them and said, you know the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. Whosoever be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life a ransom for many. Remember, in Hebrew, minister just means to serve, to be a servant. And how many people, what was Yahushua sold for?
30 pieces of silver.
30 pieces of silver. What was Joseph sold for?
30 pieces of silver.
He was sold, I don't think it say 30 pieces of silver, but they sold him though. It didn't say.
I think it was 40.
Yeah, it might have been 40. Come on back to Psalms 105. Was not Yahushua sent before all of us to be a servant? Because he had to serve death first. Verse 18. Whose feet they hurt with fetters, he was laid in iron. Was not Yahushua bound? Can we not read that in Matthew 27:1? Until the time that his word came and the word of Yahuwah tried him. Hold on. Now let's look at the Hebrew word for tried. He said this man was locked up and sold as a servant until the word of Yahuwah came to do what? Trying. So let's see. He had to pass the test. That word for try is saraf, and it means to refine or to test. And what does the book say that Yahushua will go through? The furnace of affliction. He said, I will refine you as silver is refined. So he took him through the fire. So him being locked up and being a prisoner was trying him to see if the word was in. And that goes back to what I said before. He said anybody who's going to be saved got to endure chastity, because he got to try you. He got to refine you so that you can be exercising in the peaceable fruit of righteousness. And everybody tries to do what? Duck the refinement. Now see, I was telling this about this the other day, right? We ain't gonna get specific. You know what I'm saying? Remember you mentioned a nigga told you, oh, this person want to do this right here, right? But you know what you failed to look at? A nigga saying at the same token that I'm feeling bad about this, but a nigga offering you to do this. Nigga, which one is it, nigga? You know what I'm talking about? Because it can't be both. But you nigga ain't even looking at, maybe that situation was to try you to see if you love y'all or not, to refine you and purify you and made you perfect, and you failed. You see, nigga don't want to look at that. Because maybe you being tested to see if their word is faithful and true in you, and you couldn't hold up your end of the bargain because you're a selfish bastard, unbelieving and wicked. We don't look at every situation or circumstance you encounter is to try you, to see if that word in you. That's why I told y'all the other night, I don't care what you go through. Ain't nothing you could go through worth. I just told y'all that last night. Ain't nothing you can go through can condone you sinning. Ain't nothing you can go through can condone you turning your back on y'all. None of you lost your whole family like Job did. None of you lost everything you had like Job did. Job said, I hold my integrity fast. He said, I ain't letting it go. I'm not letting go of the law. I'm not letting go of his word. I ain't letting it go. You know what I'm talking about? Yahushua suffered way more affliction than any of us did. He died not to sin. Nigga ain't got no business sinning because you're going through something. Who cares what you're going through, nigga? Suck it up. Man up. See, that's what's wrong with this whole world. Niggas is extra soft. Niggas is emotionally weak. Everybody cry. That hurt my feelings. Nigga, suck it up, nigga. Godly. I'm talking about you niggas cry and whine about everything. How you say you a man and you cry about every little thing? How you say you a grown woman, you cry about it? We ain't talking about real stuff. Traumatic experiences. Nigga, we talking about, that hurt my feelings, bro. Okay, what you want me to do about it? You know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about hurt your feelings because a nigga said something that literally hurt your feelings. Because people can say and do things that, come on, bro, I didn't appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? We just had that conversation earlier. I'm not talking about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about people being that every little thing offends them. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, sometimes your people can say stuff to you and you let them know, bro, I didn't like what you said. I didn't like that. That affected me in a particular way. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You can voice it. But niggas be more, man, my mama told me she paid later and said, man, come on, my nigga. Golly, go get this nigga some always or something. You know what I'm saying? Everybody saying they grown, but you offended at everything. It would mean the whole society is weak. Because nobody want their feelings hurt. When you deal with the word, don't nobody want to talk about repentance. Only time they want to talk about repentance is not eating pork and keeping the Sabbath, because they don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. That's why we in the position that we in. Nevertheless, he say the king sent and loosed him, even the ruler of the people let him go free, and made him the master of his house and ruler of all his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure and teach his senators wisdom. What you think that word for senator would be? What you think that is? Because it definitely ain't one of our words. What you think senator gonna be? Well, the word for senator is zakon, and you know what it means? Elder. Elder. So let's look at how that means elder in Leviticus chapter 19. I got about a good 10 more minutes, and then we gotta get on out of here. Maybe not even that long. Well, y'all niggas ate all the cookies. Well, I'm talking about, boy, you niggas sure be having to use the bathroom. I bet y'all niggas don't use the bathroom like that at the house. Yeah, I'm talking about you, little boy. And the rest of the crew. You ain't by yourself. Sabbath come, they get in here, they all gotta pee. They ain't never got to pee that much at the house. You can't get them not to use the bathroom. They get in here, I gotta pee. What a verse at, man? 1929. That ain't it. Oh, 1932. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear thy Elohim. I am Yahuwah. Now, when we see the prophecy of Mashiach, let's look and see what we see in Revelation chapter 1. We ain't dealing with the fact that talking about show you a black man. Just look at what the text say. Because the text say he'll teach his senators wisdom. That's what he said. And when we look at the word wisdom, it ain't kokma on this one. Remember, he said he would bind his princes at his pleasure. The word for wisdom in this particular instance is kakam, and it's to be wise or to show oneself wise or to be made wise. And of course, we know we got the same word for bind, to bind his princes, and we know Yahushua was made a prince and a savior for Yashar'al for repentance and forgiveness of sins. No. So we see it was the heads, the support of the head that wanted to bind his prince. Then he took his elder and taught him wisdom. How is Yah? I just mentioned it. That's why I mentioned that. We know he's the beginning of all creation, which means he's the elder. He taught him how to be wise. How did he teach him to be wise? Train up a child in the way that they should go, and they will not depart. He taught him the fear of Yahuwah. When he taught him the fear of Yahuwah, he overcame sin by condemning sin and committing the flesh in the flesh. Therefore, showing that Yahuwah is his support. Revelation 1:14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, and as white as snow, and his eyes was a flame of fire. Now in Revelation 20 and Daniel 7, don't say everybody gonna stand up at him that's standing behind that seat. Ain't that what it say? So when we look at him saying that he taught his elder wisdom, we see that he taught Yahushua wisdom. Because what did Yahushua come out the grave and teach? That the whole text was about him, which is the key to salvation, which is the key to forgiveness of sins, showing you how he brought the prisoners of hope out of the pit where there was no water by the blood of the covenant. You understand what I'm saying? This is how he did this. Because we see the prisoners of hope are those whose head is their support, or that Elohim is their support. Yahuwah, Yahusha is their support. And that's what we always have to remember. No matter what you encounter, your head is your support. But see, we don't allow our head to support us, we forget it. But also when we seen in Psalms 105, look what else it said, right? Well, we didn't care, right? He made a master of his house and all his substance. The king sent and loosed him. Who loosed Joseph out of the prison? Who loosed Yahusha out of his prison? Same thing. Same thing. And what did Pharaoh end up doing with Joseph? Sitting him where? And what did the father do with Yahusha when he loosed him out of his prison? Sit him in his right hand. And what did Yahusha said that he would do for us after he loosed us out of our prison? We'll be at his right hand. We'll be at his right hand. Because we allowed the head to be our support. And therefore, that's why he said he came up out of his prison to reign. Therefore, we will reign with him. Last thing, and we out of here. 2 Timothy chapter 2. So we got to put these people's stuff on. Yeah, 2 Timothy 2. And maybe even Romans 8 too. Yeah. 2 Timothy 2 and verse 10. Make it 9, right? He say, when I suffer trouble as an evildoer, even unto bounds, but the word of bonds, the word of Elohim is not bound. Guess what? Y'all don't need, the Father don't need no support. You understand what I'm telling you? He don't need no support. He said, therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain salvation, which is in Yahushua HaMashiach, with eternal esteem. It is a faithful saying, if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. If we believe not, yet he abide faithful. He cannot deny himself. Do you notice how he said that if you suffer, you'll what? Reign with him. When he said he came out of his prison to reign, right? Did not Joseph suffer? Did not Yahushua suffer? So the suffering comes out to what? Enduring and standing on the word and letting your head be your support in your suffering. See that what niggas mean? See, that's how you get your soul saved, when you can understand that, when you look at the examples of men who did the same thing. Nevertheless, Romans 8. See, everybody want to emulate everybody, but the men in the book you ought to be emulating. Because I done told you in the past, if you emulate Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're going to be emulating Yahushua. And that means you're going to be emulating YAHUAH. Which means you're going to get in the kingdom, bottom line.
It's like king is a kind.
I mean, shoot, we talking about the patriarchs. I ain't worrying about no kings.
That's one of my favorites.
I ain't mad at that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't mad at you at all. But what I'm talking about is the three men who the faith was established behind. Because we looked at that last night, so y'all know that, right? He established a covenant with Abraham because he was what? Faithful. And then Isaac and Jacob followed in that same footstep. Because there were no transgressions under that covenant for them. You know what I'm saying? But if you emulate Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're going to emulate Elohim. Because Yahushua came and did everything that they did. And when you look at Abraham, why wouldn't you want to emulate Abraham? This is the father of your faith. This is who you come from. If you emulate anything from Abraham, what should you emulate? Matter of fact, Mashiach himself said, if you be the children of Abraham, how about you do the works of Abraham? Abraham believed Elohim. He counted it to him for righteousness. That's the part of Abraham you should emulate. Isaac, because he was faithful. Jacob, because he was humble, meek, just, and upright all the way around. Nevertheless, Romans 8 and what? 12. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. If you live after the flesh, you shall die. But if you through the Ruach do mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live. For as many as are led by the Ruach of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. For you have not received the Ruach of bondage again to fear, but you have received the Ruach of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. And I had something for that today, and I ain't get to it. But I'll do it in more detail. But remember he said in Deuteronomy 32 where we read, he said, am I not your father? We'll tie that in, because the law already tell you about that. He said the Ruach itself bear witness with our Ruach that we are the sons of Elohim. And if sons, then heirs, heirs of Elohim, and joint heirs with Mashiach. If so be that we suffer with him, we may also be esteemed together. So if you're willing to suffer with him by being made a prisoner, if you're a prisoner of hope, that means you let the head be your support to get you through that. And that's what nobody don't want to do. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We got to start right there, though.